Welcome everyone to Mora, and this is the start of our campaign. Session 1.
Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
So, in the Broken Age, the weave of magic upon the material plane is weakened, and the essence of Mora has been broken. Powerful magic spells once wielded by mortals have been considered dangerous and unstable. And all but few remain with this knowledge, forgotten over hundreds of years. The nation of Avondale, a culture rich with desire to dominate all ways of life under their banner, has taken much of the western lands for their own and grown in power over generations. Eastward, across the Broken Sea, the rival nation of Rodolph, a confederacy of cities, continues to expand its influence far across the eastern mainlands. Gaining allies with each brought under their banner, Rodolph defies the armies of the nation, and war has continued for hundreds of years between them, with no peace in sight. The elves of Alira, a lone island in the Broken Sea, and the lands of Selga, remain neutral to both efforts of the nation and Rodolph. The elves, content in safeguarding the knowledge of the arcane for themselves and protecting it from the other races, hide in Alira from much of the world. In the year 811, an explorer named Martii Vittoro discovered a land across the vast ocean to the north, a land he called the Heart of Mora. Martii returned to the nation with news of his discovery, and King Kephalos Avondale boasted this find for all to see. As a result, Martii and Kephalos were summoned to Alira by the elves to reward the nation with for this grand discovery. The elves gifted Kephalos with knowledge of the arcane, but they demanded that Martii remain in Alira. The nation of Avondale and Rodolph have both laid claim over the Heart of Mora and established settlements upon it. Nearly 300 years passed, and in that time, Mora began to venture across the ocean to visit the Heart of Mora and explore its mysteries. You have all gathered in one way or another in the coastal city of Alicia, within the nation of Avondale. The city is large, sprawling miles across the lands, beset by two mountain ranges both north and south. It is centered in the middle of the Carp Strait and is a popular hub for many various merchants and privateers looking to trade within the Broken Sea. The buildings are of typical construct that you'd expect in the nation: thatched wood, plasters, and stone foundations, and finer accents on some of the more expensive and elaborate structures of the upper class, citizens and businessmen. The streets are organized and well guarded by Avondale soldiers, and cobbled in many areas, but dirt and mud still make up the streets of the poorer neighborhoods in the working class, or Belskavos, as they are referred to in the nation. The city has a rich diversity of life here compared to most inner cities within the nation. There are strange-looking races wandering the streets, uncommon to the standard human and halfling that are far more common and mostly accustomed to in the inner lands of the nation especially. But here the locals are accustomed to seeing these other races and pay them no more than a second glance. Each of you, in your possession, hold a scroll of fine parchment. It is your ticket, and will grant you passage on a ship named the Breath of Arga. It is destined to head across the ocean to the north and arrive at the Heart of Mora. The ship sets sail out of this port noon on the second Sunday of Diuna, in the year 1091, after the Festival of the Sun and the beginning of the warm season. It is the morning of that day The weather is clear and warm, the cool breeze still gently blowing from the sea. The docks are already busy and bustling as many workers are going about their routines. There are many ships docked at this vast portside of various sizes and makes. A large board with numbers and names and dates stands before the docks, and an individual stands before the sign, scanning its contents. Dylan, would you like to describe your character?
So, this tall, pale, almost timid-looking elf, striding through with his hood up and a dark robes on that look to be someone of worth, noble birth, but almost hand-me-down kind of clothes, hand-me-down robes. It's just sort of looking around curiously at the numerous people, pedestrians that are roaming around the city. He's making his way towards the docks, towards the ships.
As you approach the sign, looking at the names, you find the Breath of Arga. Second Sunday, Diuna, 1091. Dock number 14. Your eyes draw to the docks, and you can see signs with numbers painted in white. Starting from left, you see number 1. As you look down the lane towards dock number 14, far down, you hear the trotting of hooves along the cobblestone, and a carriage stops before you at the dockside. And you hear the driver yell, "Into the line!" A door opens on the opposite side, and you hear someone exit the carriage. The door closes, and the carriage drives off. Standing before you, Nick, would you like to describe your character?
Stepping out of the carriage, you hear the sound of bottles hitting the cobblestone. And kind of swaggers out is this red-skinned tiefling, black horns, wearing a purple cape, carrying a lute on one shoulder and a rapier on his hip. He looks around, kind of notices the big ship, and starts walking towards the pier. Kind of just giving everybody he passes a kind of a glance, as in whether or not he's checking them for as a mark, or just looking behind his back.
Several people are continuing to walk about as you stand in front of the sign, and you stand next to an individual, hooded and cloaked. Together you both stand before this sign and both look together down the road as you notice a tall humanoid figure walking your direction as well. Atop its shoulders, riding a small child, it appears. Andrew, would you like to describe your character?
So, tall, gaunt, wearing kind of a beat-up duster over piecemeal leather armor. It's hard to tell what you're looking at when you see this two-headed beast roll in. The individual on the bottom, my character, is wearing a mask and a hood pulled over. The mask is looks like it might be a variant of something like a knight might put on their horse. Long nose, a suggestion of ears, where ears might come out, grills over the eyes. A stooped, bestial appearance, almost like snake-like in the hunch, and riding atop its shoulders.
Is, upon closer inspection, not a child, or rather a very small gnome, a female gnome, with disgustingly toxic green hair. Not sure if it's just dirt that's making her hair that color or whether it's actually her hair color. She has her hands on top of the head of the individual that she's riding, as if moving its head in the direction in which she wishes to travel. The metal that's made out of the mask that the individual is wearing, you can see in bits and pieces all over the person on top as well, almost as such as an armor that she's created. So they look very similar, but one person is definitely leading this
One's
person.
definitely a person. One
Definitely a person.
So as you guys approach, you kind of step between both of their characters to kind of look over the sign, and both notice dock number 14, Breath of the Arga, as well. The four of you now stand in front of this sign.
I don't know which one to address.
I'm gonna immediately just divert my gaze, trying to stay as hidden as possible. Don't hit me.
Okay.
You hear 2 knocks on top of your head. Let's mosey!
Okay.
And I will be directed in the direction we are moseying.
I didn't know the ship had a spot for livestock.
Let's go!
You guys begin to walk towards 14. And you guys?
Start to see that they're about 6 feet ahead, and I'll just sort of trail in behind, knowing that trying to blend in with the rest of the crowd.
I'll notice him blending in, and I'll start walking behind him, just playing my lute.
Any particular tune?
just kind of like strumming to his foot, his as he walks. So like, when I notice him maybe stepping harder, a deeper note, lightly, maybe getting faster. Ding, 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 ding.
As you begin, you notice that.
Every step, I'm like, steps.
But as the two of you guys lead on, and they kind of follow at their own pace behind, walking towards Dock 14, you see several ships docked at this pier, at the piers beyond. 2 ships, very large galleons. There is a small frigate there as well. The largest of the 2 galleons is very clearly marked in colors of blue and white that you recognize as colors of the nation of Avondale. The other large galleon is plain and of different craftsmanship than any of the other ships that you've seen in port or in the harbor so far. There are several horses currently being guided onto the plainer galleon, and several stacks of supplies await being brought aboard as well. You see soldiers of the nation of Avondale lined up very orderly near to the largest galleon, the blue and white one, all with bags and supplies nearby or on shoulder, as they one by one make their way up the gangplank of this ship very slowly. You hear this sudden thrashing of loud splashing coming from the docks below. It is followed by this kind of crunching and slurping sound as this heavy limb, as kind of the sound of heavy limbs moving through water like sloshes, where this massive claw just followed by another one pulling up this large figure out of the water. It kind of shakes off some of the wet. Callum, would you like to describe your character?
What they witnessed crawling out from under the docks is a massive, hulking, gator-like creature. And on its back is slung an equally massive battle axe. Green scales, jagged maw, a shiny iron eye in its right socket, and in its other eye socket. It's amber eye, vertical slit, peering at them.
Kind of gazes across as it chomps the last of a fish and kind of swallows it down.
Children scream, panic screams. My word. Is a gasp.
As you guys continue on towards 14,
You can kind of feel like the hands on your head just like a little bit tighter at the sight of what's crawling out of the water. Yeah.
How close are we to these guys?
It's probably about 10 feet from you as he comes out of the dock. As you guys are walking, instinctively stop initially, and then proceed on. As you notice, it turns and follows in the same direction as you, heading towards 14 as well.
I'm going to try and whisper to Sin. I say, "Sir, I know what you're thinking. Do not try and steal that thing's eye."
Like, I don't pay you to talk, okay? Let's keep moving.
Kind of feel it like little bucking. As all of you at your own pace begin to near Dock 14, you see a sign marked number 14, and you notice there is no ship currently docked at the location, though. But sitting under the shadow of the sign, you see a figure with appear to be cards laid out in front of it, and an individual standing in front of him, kind of like, oh no, this shouldn't be. And then he kind of runs off as you see the sort of shadowy individual begin to collect the cards and shuffle them up a little bit. Gillen, would you like to describe your character?
Yeah, so sitting cross-legged on like the soapbox kind of vibe. You can tell is finely dressed, obviously. Fine linens and silks, adorned with jewelry. A furry cat-like creature, tabaxis as they're known. Gray fur, hood, the regular yellow eyes, cat. As I stand up, start packing my things away in my little box, you notice that I'm quite tall and slender. You can see how the fabrics fall down around myself, and I kind of lean back against in the shade and inspect the sun, try and discern, see how close it is to noon.
It's still early, probably another hour or so, you'd reckon, before it's about high noon.
I'm keeping an eye on the hood monster that just crawled out of the lake.
It's kind of walking towards you with still wet, slapping
I am
feet.
still a cat, and I will keep my distance. Thank you very much.
The two of you arrive first, I suppose, and kind of see that you're at Dock 14, but there is no ship currently there, and according to your schedule, you do know that it is about an hour away from noon, which does seem unusual.
Are there other people around?
There are, yeah, there's people milling about, but at this particular dock, it's actually just the 6 of you.
I'm gonna recheck my ticket just to be sure.
Interesting.
How
Right.
close are we to that other... Is it frigate that's loading?
It's
soldiers
probably
onto
about maybe 80 or so feet from the dock. Like the docks are about 80 feet apart per each one, allowing for large ships to kind of settle in. That directly, though, is the blue and white one, the next one over from you guys. So at number 15, I guess it would be. And you see, like, out front of it, probably about 40 or so soldiers still waiting to get onto the ship.
Ticket has no dock number on it.
No.
Maybe this is the wrong dock.
I kind of I try to see if I can catch just kind of a passerby and see and ask them if the breath has come in yet.
Kind of bump into one or two people before someone's like, breath, oh, no, oh yeah, Sunday. I suppose it should be.
No,
Doesn't seem to be, though.
I'm not late.
Are you on this ship then, are you?
I'm waiting for it.
Maybe it's running late.
Oh,
Carries on.
How very astute of you, I say. Just say it right there.
as long as I'm not late, that's the
Roll
main
in my
one.
eyes.
I'm gonna give you 3 clanks to the top of the head, which means you can get down on your knees and let me off of here.
He does.
I
Assumes a sort of defensive position.
I kind of look. I
Side
kind
on
of
top.
look at all of us, kind of, just like. So this is the freak show boat, right?
Shagger openly chuckles at that because it's pretty true.
I mean, all the humans are getting on that boat over there. You're the most normal of us. And you came riding on something.
Like patting his calf.
Yeah, she calls him cow sometimes.
He passes a chain around his neck over to Tim.
She'll just kind of walk over to the edge of the dock and just sit on it.
Okay.
Waiting. She's blatant. You can tell that she's clearly ignoring you.
For the sake of it,
Oh yeah.
this is where you guys are actually at. I mean, that's well.
So are
You
we?
bring,
So yeah, I walk away. I gotta
You
say.
and I were like right around
I'm gonna
this
say,
area.
and I'll walk away and bring you with me and sit on the end of the dock.
sure.
Definitely wanted to avoid the chompy.
Chompy chomp.
Chompy
Farmer would probably do that thing like kind of dogs do, like a sort of protective dog.
Yeah.
Will just like kind of sit guard
A
and
little
sort
bit
of
warding.
look at the other people, not look at Timmy.
Okay.
So are
If
any
I'm not looking at things.
barrels on the dock or anything that we could kind of
Not this
post
one.
up
This one's blank. There's like a little cart that's just kind of chilling there that you could rest at or what have you, though. And some homes and things like that. In the vicinity of it, there's alleyways and stuff like the town leads on from this direction, basically. So if you wanted to slink away, there's plenty of city to do that.
do myself a favor and just sort of go over to the side there, just perch up, and then pull out my book.
Begin reading.
Get a good read.
Whisk.
I will take up a position along this house and almost like open myself up in like a basking position.
Take the sun.
Yeah. Also, like gazing around, like observing the environment.
Okay. Yeah, it's blazing at you.
Jaws open to like release heat. Just waiting for prey to walk into your mouth.
Okay. So as you guys kind of settle in your own positions, the minutes begin to tick by. 10, 15, 30 minutes. Before you hear another carriage coming down along. It parks itself up front before you guys, where you see 3 dwarves exit one at a time. One, a female dwarf with a small sort of face with red braided hair, wearing big blue robes. You see another smaller male dwarf with long blonde hair kind of poking out, wearing just plain brown robes. Each of them carrying a backpack over them and another side bag. And you see another third dwarf exit before the carriage takes off. This one rougher in the face as he kind of gazes up and begins to look out. You see this kind of short bristled beard that's kind of tight to the face, swinging from him a flask which he brings up to his mouth and kind of takes a pretty hefty swig before putting it back at his side. Looking out and kind of, what time is it? See her kind of like, oh, it's just about noon. Being that Usk is kind of leaning there and looking humongous, he kind of like goes over to the little more timid-looking Kushagra and kind of, hey, are you waiting for ship? Let's see, the Breath the Arga? He pulls out a ticket himself.
Indeed, seems to be late.
Late! Oh, fuck. An expensive. I cannot believe that. Oi! And he starts like going down towards the other boat at 15. The other two dwarves behind him, kind of just waiting behind as he marches down with ticket in hand. You can kind of hear him yelling like, "Hey, does anybody here know anything about this?" And marches all the way down to the other dock, where you see him kind of begin to talking with general-looking kind of figure who stands out above the rest of the soldiers and kind of like takes the ticket and looks it over, and you see him point out to the sea, and then kind of like do one of those ones before they have a few exchange of words. The other two dwarves standing there. So, what? How long have you been waiting for?
About a half hour? 45 minutes? Hour? 2 hours? I don't know.
Oh,
Seems as though we'll have to start learning how to swim. If it doesn't arrive soon.
see her kind of whisper to her companion, who kind of just. It's the long blonde hair kind of flowing out. Well, while we're waiting, would anybody fancy a game? He kind of jingles a few dice in his hand.
Now you're speaking my language.
There goes our starting goal.
Hey! And he just kind of sits cross-legged on the ground and... So, what do you reckon here?
Dealer's choice. What are you thinking? You obviously have a game in mind.
If you're familiar with the simple game of CeeLo.
Seago?
A CeeLo.
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 CSGO, actually.
From over at the docks. Yes.
CSGO. Actually.
It's a very simple game. If you don't know it, don't worry, I'll teach you.
Fine, yes.
Alright, so, and he pulls out some dice. So how much do you have here for a first wager? What do you think about a gold piece, sir?
How about, since I'm just learning, let's start off with silver first.
Oh, a silver, sure. That's a fine one here. 1 silver you and 1 silver for me. And,
Excellent.
since it's just the two of us, right? Well, I'll roll first. How about that? Actually, you know what? You're new. Let's let you have a roll here. Take these 3 dice, 3d6s.
3d6.
Now, just go ahead and roll those for me. Don't you worry about the cobble here. Try to get it in the flat spots.
That is a 12.
We're looking for pairs here.
Oh, I got a pair of 6s.
First roll.
That's really
First roll of the game.
bad. I'm
That's
gonna.
really bad?
Yes, for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
You roll me an insight.
What's my...
That's really. What is my cheat sheet?
Where's my skills? Inside... Oh, no, plus 0. Natural 20.
Shut up.
Natural
You're
20.
the game.
Wow.
Damn!
That's,
That was the first roll. Oh my god! That's terrifying.
You take those dice to the grave with you.
Well
Those are your dice.
done.
First, 2 6s on yours.
Yeah, he's lying. That's like not a bad thing. That's a good thing. What was the other dice as well?
3.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you know he's pulling your shit. Okay, so let me. Now I roll, and I try to
so
beat
you aiming
that.
for higher or lower than what?
Well, since you got 2 6s, it doesn't really matter what I roll, as long as I don't get a 1, 2, or 3. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, 6s is kind of like a bad roll around. Yeah. See that? That's a bad one. I'm gonna roll again.
What do you get to roll again?
See that one there? That's a winning roll there. He's got like a 4, 3, and a 6. That right there means that's better because that's 7 and then 6.
So,
Best of luck next time, though, man. And he grabs the 2 coins. Fancy another one?
yes. Okay.
So you guys will
So we're
spend...
aiming for a 4, 6, and a 3.
Because then the 6.
Well, that's a good one against your 2 6s. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not terribly complicated, but there are sort of subtle rules that if you're playing advanced CeeLo,
Okay.
like we are.
Rolling his eyes, hearing this. We should go back. Just like.
And, like, it's always that I'm not falling for his
No, of course not. No.
Sharga is like not gonna step on another charlatan's toes, but
Yeah.
he's curious to see how this person I don't know the name of yet handles this.
Yeah, this teeth thing.
So since you won,
Aye.
I believe that you should roll first then?
Oh, well, if you'd prefer, sure, I
Yeah.
can go first for you today. See, that's a 2 and a 1 and a 5. That means I get to re-roll.
A 2, 1, 5.
See, now that's 2 1s and a 6. That's a very good roll.
Okay, so 2 6s is bad and 2 1s is good. So I'm really aiming for lower.
Yeah, that's why it's called see low.
Oh, okay.
But it depends what you see
Okay.
and how low.
How low you go?
Well, that's a 1, a 5, and a 2, which is 3 and an 8. So that beats your 7 from the last game, which means I win.
No, that means those you have to roll them again.
I have to roll them again? Oh.
Yeah, when you roll those numbers, you have to roll again.
Okay. Well, that's a 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6, which equals an 8, which means I beat your odd numbers with my even numbers, doesn't it?
Make me a deception check.
That is a +6.
Come
What?
in.
Oh, yeah.
Sixes. Not 5 minutes.
Is it?
That's a 19.
You see here, like a little nudge from the other dwarf. Yeah, that means you take it, I think. I suppose this spot's yours, old man. We'll play again here. As you kind of hear the kind of footsteps of the other dwarf coming back. Well, it seems as though they're just about to port in. Wouldn't be too much more time. What you're doing over here? There's no fucking games. And he grabs the dice from like his wrist and like pulls them out. It's just killing the time here. Don't listen to a damn thing he says. He's trying to fool you.
Oh,
Come on.
No. You seem so honest.
Talk with the devil. Get over here. We are men of the cloth, remember.
Never play games with the devil.
That's it.
May I ask, man of the cloth,
Yes.
which god do you serve?
Oh, we are servants of,
Sorry.
servants,
Sorry,
servants of Mora. We're from Durgar,
Where?
the earth goddess. Yes.
2 hills drawn with one line.
Yes, you know the one. This here, he points at like a little embroidery.
Yes, of course.
So we're heading to the heart of Mora to what we're researching for the well, just some sort of things. It's probably that we don't see, right? You know, they're secretive.
Geological and
Mostly, yes. That's what we're hoping to find. This sword of Viveria is said to exist still in the valley, somewhere in the heart of Mora. So that's where we're going, and that's why.
curious.
Why are what are you going to the heart of Mora for?
I have personal reasons to seek out the heart of Mora.
Only such as?
Well, it holds mysteries, and I wish to uncover these mysteries.
You are Tabaxi.
Yes.
There are not many seen in my days, but
I come traveling from Ortho, but unfortunately I cannot tell you where more Tabaxi reside.
more Tabaxi that I've heard of are quick to hide themselves for good earnings. So you see the blonde dwarf kind of like,
Just checking me out, or
a little bit.
Hey.
I think one of
Him like looking at you. I mean, maybe not in that kind of way, but perhaps.
Yeah.
Leave him alone. He's just a poor cat person. You know how it is with them. They're always suffering. Such. Oh, he's just making conversation.
Always suffering.
You two who are kind of looking out a little bit for the docks, you do begin to see this large galleon begin to port in as it makes its way. Probably about 2 or 3 minutes before it actually lands.
About time.
That's the rest of you kind of take notice.
Get up from my sitting position and motion to you to let me back on the ride.
So kind of clamber up and
Yeah, exactly.
get
I kind
back
of climb on.
Does he do like the horse thing where they bend down? One
Yeah,
leg?
exactly. He gets down on both knees, and I maneuver myself on top of the shoulders and get back
Gotta be this tall to ride the ride.
Well, I'm not this tall. So.
Okay. The rest of you eventually begin to take notice that the ship is coming in. As the dwarves are kind of like, all right, let's get ourselves organized here. Come on, 1, 2, 3, everyone's here. All right. As the ship begins to come about, and I find its description. Aha.
Nice.
Come aboard. Ah.
Nice.
You see, you see in copper lettering that's kind of stained green with the salt of the sea across this large galleon, the words "the breath of the Arga" across its bow as it kind of swings its side in towards the dock. The large ship is sturdy, ocean-weathered wood, steel bracings that kind of hold the frame of the ship within this cage of protection. You see portholes along the sides of the ship, all pulled closed at the moment and sealed tight against their steel frames. Below the bowsprit, you see, which is like the big long thing at the end of the ship, a figurehead of bronze carved into a woman with kind of loose robes, which are kind of grabbed about her as she kind of pulls her way up the mast of this bowsprit towards the tip of the ship. Her arms held out, supporting the bowsprit in this kind of lofty, effortless manner. The sails are plain and mostly white, with sort of some patches where damage has been done and repairs have been made as it swings in, and you hear the gangplanks tip over and crack down. I'll pull the ship out.
Man, I thought it was not going to come. I thought it was a red herring.
Yeah,
You're a son of a bitch. You're a son of a bitch.
You're the worst.
Why would you do this?
Oh my god.
Oh,
hot damn.
I guess
Water.
I guess we're starting strong. Starting with our strongest assets here.
A little bit closer,
Yeah,
and then we're good.
before we have assets like this. Yep.
Yeah. And if that can be
Steep
maybe
plank.
nicey nice, that would be lovely.
That's a deep plank. Come on now.
Yeah, as it's submerged, it'll be a little bit lower. Also, the gangplank only reaches when it's not at its like giant shippiness. Yeah, some of it is submerged. Oh, I guess this could be like
Perfect.
tipped up.
Oh my.
So, 1 second. So as the ship kind of comes in,
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
as the gangplank slams down, you see. Oh my gosh! There she is. You see this female, well-tanned skin. Her black hair is very thick and curly and kind of loose as it kind of tangles wildly around this big, broad collar that's brought up from her coat. It hangs down past her shoulders in front. This large brimmed hat sits atop her head. It's kind of smashed down like a pancake and suffering from a lot of weather damage as it kind of like flops across as she kind of swings her head and makes her way down the gangplank. She's wearing this kind of long red captain's coat that is covered in pins and trinkets, fixed to this large flopping collar, kind of open and kind of billowing. As she kind of marches her way down, you hear her, "Skip! Get the... Skippy!" And you see this small little halfling kind of, "Yes, Captain. Get the rest of them on the ship. I have a business to attend to. I will be back momentarily. Please, we are already running late. Get them aboard the ship. We will deal with them once aboard. We have very little time, and I have to go do some business. I will return." And she kind of brushes past you guys, glancing briefly, but marches down towards boat 15, which is the large white and blue. As you guys take note, as she kind of very hurriedly walks along the cobblestone, this small little halfling comes down. The dwarves kind of push past you to the front. So, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I've got a position here for free. Is that for you there, lads? Yes, that's for us there. All right, come on, right up the gangplank there. Let me see your tickets there. Yes, room free. Okay, yeah. Okay, so they're gonna be in room 4 there. Don't worry about that. Leave room 1 alone. Don't. That's for some other people. Okay. As they kind of make their way up, you see a few of the deckhands begin to take their bags from them as they kind of make their way down into the ship. All right, next up. Now who's next here?
I push forward.
Okay, Barrett comes to the front.
And
Hey, tickets, please. Come on now.
And my ticket. I was just like, I was told by the captain herself that I'm to have the second biggest room outside of hers, mind you.
Oh, that can't be right. I'm supposed to leave that to the to our other guests, unfortunately, there, man. But you know what? I might have been mistaken here. Roll me a deception check.
That's a 10.
Yikes.
Then again, let me see your ticket there first.
My hand.
See, that only says for 1. The big room I was supposed to leave for 4. That's for sure. Sorry, my friend. So who are your 2 roommates then?
I was supposed to have a room by myself, wasn't I?
Oh, well, I'm sorry for the miscommunication there, but, well, we've only got 2 rooms left and they seat 3 each, and I've only got 1 key for each room, so you're gonna have to find some friends, I suppose.
Can I overhear this conversation?
Oh yeah, you guys are kind of lined up. You'll
Yeah,
overhear this.
while this is happening, I'm gonna start knocking on his head to go towards the wizard.
Okay.
The noble hand-me-down man over there.
The robed figure.
I know. Somebody
The
knows.
only one that I even slowly
I look over
get
to
along with out of this
the
group.
the cat man that we were just kind of talking to. I'm sure they have a box in the same room. You want to bunk up?
How presumptuous.
That's me.
Entirely accurate. Would be practical. Yes, I.
Well,
Fine,
each room has its own chest for storing your, belongings, if you like.
Should be
There's also a hammock as
If
well
he
as
fits, he
beds.
sits.
Very well. Not the
We
first
shall receive
tabaxi
that.
I've seen, that's for sure.
Yeah, just mildly bemused at these jokes this year.
As you guys get closer, you see that
I
this
noticed.
his like brown kind of floppy hair splashing from side to side. These huge ears that have like hair stringing out of them, and these massive 2 buck teeth that are just hanging down over his lip. You see like the red from the impact of his words. Each time he kind of presses them against his lips.
It's a skip.
This is Skip.
Yeah, this is
Great.
Skip. Yeah.
Great.
Is that Skippy there? The hunchback?
No, he's the guy with the torch. Actually, he can go
Oh, I
down.
love Skippy.
Yeah.
Skippy's such a good mom.
Oh, you posted him.
And is Captain?
She is away at the moment. Yeah, but she's the red
She's the
cloaked
red
girl. Yeah.
cloaked thing. Awesome.
Well, I guess that's my roommates decided.
I've only counted 2 there, but
Oh, is it 3?
per room, yeah, it's a bit tight, of course, but it's a ship.
Boost makes his way up the top. I will go with them. Small one.
Right. Of course, I need to see your ticket too there, Mister.
Boost reaches into his turtle shell belt buckle and scuffles around for a bit.
Let's see here. This is for 1 year. All right. Well, very well. Thank you, and yourself, there, Mr. Catman. Thank you. Yes, very good. Oh, lovely.
Boost.
Thank you.
Was it?
Yes. Thanks.
You have eaten today, yes? Some.
Well, this.
I taste like brimstone.
Lord.
Never tried that.
Well, I'll pass the key over to you then.
Thank you.
And now you'll have to share that between the 3 of you. So make that a habit, I suppose. I'll get you sorted out. Jara, all in. And the 2 kind of come to the end of the gangplank. Help them to their rooms, yeah, if you don't mind. As you guys begin your way up, and they take you down into the room. All right, so then you 3, I suppose, by default,
Yeah,
I
at
guess.
this point, I'm knocking on both of their heads to move them towards the.
I'm gonna slightly notice my hand is starting to turn back to a purple hue. I'm going
Yeah,
to
all right, true.
throw it into my cloak and just sort of. Yes, of course. I guess that leaves us 2. Yes.
Right, you are running over the time, aren't you?
Can I see that?
Roll me a stealth check, and then roll me a perception check.
Both?
Well, you perception
okay,
him stealth.
Sorry, yeah.
Is
14.
You definitely get a glance of some color change as he like puts it under his cloak.
that's not sketchy at all.
No.
Well, come out here. We haven't got much time.
So I'll still knock and I'll move him forward, yeah.
So the three of you guys also roll me a perception check as well. You're still outside. The other three, you guys are inside though.
Oh,
Three of us.
Three of
Yes,
us.
just the
Okay.
three of you guys.
Perception?
Yes.
15.
That's a 5 from me.
Okay. So as you kind of are looking out still, and then they grab your attention, you kind of hide yourself and you look back towards that direction where the large boat is at Dock 15. You see Captain Zovra talking with 4 blue-robed figures very intensely. You see her kind of like nodding, and then another figure that was directing traffic earlier kind of coming over to the side. You see him shaking her hand, passing a few words together before she begins to walk back towards the boat with the 4 blue-robed figures behind her. As Skippy's kind of like, all right, tickets please, tickets one at a time now, let me see here. How about you there, you two there? Kind of takes them each. All right, for one, yes, everything's in order here, everything's in order. And you there, sir?
I quickly, hurriedly look in my pouch and realize it's in my other pocket.
Very good one as well. Fantastic. We're running right behind, but more or less on schedule here. Well, help you up here. Greg, maybe Jason or someone else can help you up.
Jason.
Maybe not Jason. Lenny! Call off! I love my names over here. Okay.
Lenny Koroff.
This is kind of lumber down and help you guys with your bags, and you two make your way in. If you guys feel comfortable, you can lift the top deck off and reveal the bottom deck, where the three of you will be in this room 4, basically, and then the other 3, that's your room, and then the 3 dwarves are actually in the larger room that's over here. You can pop those in there for me, just so we know where they are.
Well, is it possible while we're going up and I'm kind of like leaning back a little bit, I want to cast Disguise Self again to try and hide the color.
Yeah, make me a stealth check.
So, sorry,
As you're
where?
kind of hanging back.
Yeah.
No problem.
Can you tell me where again?
Ooh, it's got-
So you guys have either this
We're
room.
gonna roll with
or-
the guy.
I'll let you guys decide. I suppose it doesn't really matter to me.
And it's still that one.
You're in there. What's that?
You're on
It's
top
a nat 1
That one.
plus 5.
You might need to train those dice up a little bit.
Yeah, these aren't mine.
I mean-
these are all Baron's dice.
As Skippy's kind of like pushing them along, he looks back right as you're finishing like an incantation, and he kind of, whoa, now none of that crazy magic stuff aboard, my friend, the captain sort of, she doesn't want any of that fancy stuff here. Now
Farmer grabs Lucian's hand, his blue hand, and grabs where it's blue, covers it, and grabs you and starts pulling you towards the room.
Yeah, everyone noticed that, guys. It's a bad miss. He's right nervous, man. Lucian's like a lot nervous right now. Yeah, this can be, if someone wants to, put a little
And I kinda-
cool view in there.
I'll give you a little pat on the head. Good job.
The aim is to try and covers that.
Mm-hmm.
Do not know. Thank you for your candor. Sir,
It's okay.
assuming
I'm,
you are more
I'm
sentient.
calling hauling you to the room.
So
Assuming
as,
you're more
uh,
sentient than any mount I've met.
As you guys make your way up in there, grab your bags, and eventually they find you in your rooms. It's very tight inside, especially with Usk. As you kind of have to hunch the whole way into the ship, you're kind of like... Your sides are kind of scraping against certain areas as you kind of fit your way into the room. You see a bunk bed.
Throw up like a dog.
There's a bunk bed in each room, and then a hammock that's kind of slung up to the side by hooks, where there's another hook across where you can sling it out when it's time for sleeping. There's also a small chest there, a bucket, and a window.
Ah,
Only one small chest.
One small chest. Well, it's really like a medium size,
Or like all of them.
like a trunk, I suppose. Yeah, like you could fit enough valuables in there for the most part. Like nothing long, of course, but
well, it's a good thing I pack light.
What do you have? 3 instruments? Yeah.
you're like
Couple
crammed
natural
in. Yeah.
luggage. Yes.
As soon as we enter the room, I'm gonna try and swing immediately up into that hammock.
Oh yeah.
Just extreme, like way more quickly than you've seen me move so far. Just actually like grab onto a post or something with my cat claws and just deftly swing up into the hammock. Do you need to
No
check
problem.
anything
Yeah,
there?
you're
No?
very dexterous.
It's also a
easy.
hammock. It's like meant to be gotten into.
Yeah.
Easily
Yeah.
done.
And I just like turn around a few times and like going through my things.
You guys hear the kind of clanking of many footsteps atop before this kind of like sliding of wood as the gangplank is pulled back over. But you do hear like a number of like heavy footsteps. As you guys are in the rooms, is the doors open at the moment or are they closed?
I don't even know if we could close the door.
I was going to say, I'm
Who's
pretty sure,
firmly
especially
stuck
after
in
you
the
just
doorway.
Definitely.
shut
He
the door.
is, his mouth
Well,
is
maybe I
in
would
the,
have that's really before.
in the room, but the rest is
I
not.
think I might have had
no.
to like.
So we'll,
get you
your
down.
guys' can be
Yeah.
open
In
short.
the Rolodex,
Yeah,
you mean
you might have
literally,
grabbed me
like,
at the
the
same
model
time or
can't
something
fit
like
in
that, and
He's
Yeah,
quite
threw me
big.
off.
Not with everybody
Wrapped
else.
in.
He fits, but it's
works.
tight. It's like, you know, your model.
Rolls
So
to start.
Is
20 and 2
this is
ones.
big. He's crammed in.
Love it.
So since your guys closing your door immediately,
Yes.
okay, we'll come to that in a second. So as you guys have yours open a crack, because Uska's trying to figure out how he fits in here, he's like, I have to do a whole thing to get the door to close behind me right now.
Close on the tail.
You see Captain Zovra. You can see Captain Zovra leading down the staircase and passing through, and she kind of looks over and. Christ. The 4 blue-robed figures behind her as she kind of escorts them down into the very end hallway room there, where they will hang out. Actually, it's that one over there.
It makes more sense.
That's the big luxury room.
That's one I was aiming for.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Before she kind of like, now if you need anything at all, don't feel free to ask us, of course. And please enjoy your stay. Thank you. Closes the door quietly behind her, where one of the blue figures stays outside of the door and just kind of like. You just hear this like hoof coming from underneath like a helm. As he stands outside of the doors, closes it behind him, and Zovra kind of like, excuse me, and kind of taps on your lizard back. Would be reasonable for me. I have seen many large creatures. Let me show you how to feed, if you don't mind. She grabs your tail and kind of like puts it between your legs. That's... Sorry for the warning there. And now what you're going to do is turn your left hip there, yes? And she kind of half pushes you and there you are, and then is able to sling the door closed.
It's like,
And then you have like space after the door is closed. You're like, oh, okay. But getting in is a bitch as they open inward.
getting out.
Or getting out is going to be hard too.
That bed's not coming.
So you want top
I mean,
bunk,
you
right?
can fit in it, but you want probably top bunk, I would say, so you can hang over.
I'm gonna not sleep while that's on top. Please don't break. Please don't break.
As you guys are getting settled in, yeah, you have some time here to settle in. We'll go back to you guys for a second because you're just getting into the room together here, and then like you close the door behind you.
We have a window in our room, yeah.
All of you have a window, and there's a bucket near the window.
I feel like it's like a little quiet.
It's definitely an awkward silence.
Oh
I'll
no.
speak up first.
I'll say, well, yeah.
I just want to say thank you again. Heart of Mora. Disfigured. Not viewed amongst most, what's that say, a good omen. But I mean, you know. Surely I understand the predicament. I'm sorry. I know you probably think that you've chosen unpoorly with the likes of our other 3 companions. Truly, you know. Thank you. You must be the most sentient mount I've ever met in my life. It's all right. I have revealed my secret. Please.
Well, oh, yeah. Jeez. Oh, I'm gonna take off this mask. Thanks. Oh, thanks, Timmy. You did. Oh, we did great out there. Oh, woo! Oh, that's Dickens. That. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. What's your name, friend?
Miss Lucian. Lucian Foliatus.
Lucian Foliatus. Oh, that's a 10-cent word.
Yes. It's worth its weight in gold, I say that. What is your name? Creature.
Well, my name's Farmer. Sir here is Timmy.
Tyndall.
Tyndall.
Don't call me Timmy.
All right. See, I must earn the right to call you Timmy. But Tyndall, great to meet you. And you too.
Look, if you don't mind me, well, I figured we're in it together now, you and I, a little bit.
Certainly.
So this is why am I telling you that this is sort of a life and death situation?
Come out with it.
This is sort of a life and death situation. So we're not gonna have to kill you or anything.
No. We're all right.
I mean, I don't mean to necessarily put it in such strict terms, but if we, it's really important that we get off this away from this port with no one recognizing me. So
Myself as well. I'm meeting my father.
Good.
Trust me, I mean no harm. I'm trying to be as small as possible. I just happen to be a little faulty
that
with
a
my
joke?
spells. No, it wasn't a joke. Not nearly at your size or stature. Not at all, Tyndall. I believe you are higher than your elevated likeness at all.
Was that a joke? Because I was riding his
No,
shoulders.
not at all. Not at all. At all. No. Forgive me. We got off on a bad start.
Trashy. Yes.
I love it.
Please allow me to bear myself as I truly am, and I'll let the disguise self
Drop. Okay.
This is me and all that I am.
What do they see?
As my pale white elven features just turn to a almost light purplish bluish hue, and it all just sort of melds, starting from my mouth and my nose, just starting to spread rapidly over my face. My eyes that were once bright and vibrant green turn into the whites of my eyes turn into a black, while the irises turn into a light blue, as it would be a blue moon. Please do not be afraid.
Shit.
Please quiet.
That's a heck of a darn thing, sir.
I truly mean no harm. I'm just trying to find my father. He's out there, out in Mora. He told me to meet him. I have not seen him in 3 months. That is all I want.
So are you gonna try and stay in... Well, this is a good question. Are you gonna try and stay in disguise the whole time?
Hope to. But as long as I'm grateful that you two know my secret now. It makes it easier for me, but I will try my darndest to stay as low on the radar as possible.
I hope you don't take any offense to this, but are you a bad thing? Are you something that I like? Because I don't know, and I'm just wondering if, like, are you something that?
From what I recall, I was just taken away from my home. That was all. I've known no violence in my life. I've trained in certain arts, but I am noble by.
But are people on the boat gonna freak out like immediately if they see
Most
what
likely,
you are?
yes. But
All right. No,
only
that's
because
good
they
to know.
fear what they
All
don't
right.
know. That is all.
Is that it? That's it?
That's it.
That's the only reason why they're gonna fear you?
Not because you're gonna be a great and powerful ally to us.
What is it that you're hiding? Aside from the fact that this horse could talk.
Good opportunity for what do you actually look like, farmer?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. When Farmer takes his mask off, he's got definite bovine features. He stands tall too. Like when he's stretched out, he's 7 feet tall, and his head, although he is lean, his head donks against, I imagine, the
7 feet. Yeah, you and Oscar are about the same height for that.
yeah.
Osk hunches all the time. If he ever stretched out, he might be 9 feet long.
Yeah.
Hunched over 7. Yikes.
But it might take two farmers soaking wet to
Yeah.
He's thick. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
meaty. You're gaunt.
Yeah,
like you said.
so yeah, I'm a little bit gaunt. Mostly white. Mostly white hair covers most of his body. Bovine features. What if you knew something about minotaurs? He's missing his horns, and his horns have been cut off almost to the scalp. So, like, I don't know what that means to you. Like, he might even not look like a
They've been
minotaur.
cut. Oh, okay.
I'd say visibly, like, noticeable that they're cut at least.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Looks like you got a hat on, right?
Well, yeah, I did have a hood on,
we
but
can
I
take
think
that off.
when we're in this
Revealed
sort of
ourselves.
Fully
let
revealed.
it all show.
Gotta take the hood off and take the mask off.
Yeah.
7.5 uncut.
Mistaken for like a furball almost.
Yeah, almost without the horns.
Good for you.
He's 7 feet tall. He's 7 feet tall.
Good
Like
for
that's actually not a.
Not
Yeah.
good for you. Good for
Proud of you.
you. Proud of you.
So you asked. Well, strictly speaking, I'd like to exit the nation of Evandale as soon as I can by any means possible, because I'm sort of what you call a deserter.
Fair enough.
Served. I was conscripted into the army, and I have since left. And the nation of Evandale does not smile upon traitors. And I'd say there is probably a small price on my head if I were to be found, but I think it would be if I was. And Sir here has been good enough to help me keep disguise, and we've made our way here, and I'm in her debt.
Both honorable people, thank you for sharing with me. Tindo, you must. What is in it for you to help this man find his freedom?
I don't have to use my legs.
That's a good point. I wouldn't use my legs if I didn't have to either. That's fantastic. All right. Well, it's great. It's wonderful to meet you both, your acquaintance. I appreciate you being with me.
No, he looks like a trustworthy individual.
Aside from the demonic-looking features, yeah.
But I suppose with an NPC, I'd be rolling an insight check, because I'm trying to like
If he's being untruthful,
to see if there's or if there's.
I suppose we haven't discussed whether I want to do insight
Yeah,
checks for the
yeah.
party or not. It's up to you guys. Do you want to be able to insight each other?
Yeah, I really like.
I mean, by nature, I think Tim's
We're gonna
not
allow
trusting. So
I think there's certain
That
checks
would
that
be-
might be
I-
like
that's the
weird,
thing,
but
right.
I don't know if this is
it.
weird.
Roll me an insight check.
Okay.
Nat 20.
I'm not that good with people. Apparently, it's a natural one.
He seems to be telling the truth for sure.
All right.
Absolutely.
The whole truth.
better.
The whole truth.
Wholehearted.
That's an but the truth, okay?
Very
Well,
trustful person.
You can't.
It sounds good to me. I think we have somewhat of an alliance. While we're on this ship, can we perhaps trust each other
You
to?
can count on me. Is this what we're doing? We're putting a hand in? Oh, fantastic.
Can you,
Yeah, oh,
can you put your hand on top of my subject?
Oh,
You want to be
A
on
purple
top?
hand and a
No, you want to
very
be
tiny
underneath.
hand.
You don't want to touch him. Oh, I get it. Okay. My insight's not too good.
here we are.
All right, 1, 2. Yeah.
Let's get Let's get tropical. Okay.
So while you guys are doing that, you three who
Awkward
have
church camp.
just
meeting.
had the door kind of like hastily slammed by Zovra.
I mean, I'm just staring straight into the eyes of those kids, just
Well,
not.
Right.
Yeah, like I'm a cat watching a lizard. Like I'm just like not letting him come towards me.
I'm just heavily smelling the air.
This isn't what I expected.
The devil, the cat, and
Yeah.
the lizard.
Walk into the bar.
Perhaps,
Becomes very drunk.
perhaps we should get to know one another. Sorry.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance. I am Kshagra, a mystic traveling across Mora, searching for other Sabaxi such as myself. You're a tiefling.
Yes. Horns.
Didn't catch your name.
Barrett Montgomery Aylstorm the Third.
Third.
Yes.
Long family lineage.
Yeah. But the first was the ship.
First was
The first Aylstorm was the ship, yes.
Oh, motherfucker, shit.
It was long, hard, and full of semen.
Oh.
Oh,
Glad
brilliant.
not in that room.
It seems like a good time.
Traveling artiste. Pull up my lute and kind of.
Some madness.
Will be well entertained for the rest of the trip.
I will entertain myself. Whether or not others find me entertaining is their on them.
Well, I do readings into I'm a guide through the cards for those who wish to seek guidance. If you ever need my services, be willing to trade.
You play CeeLo.
Why, yes.
Good, because maybe you can explain it to me.
Explain it to me.
Yes, well, the rules vary from person to person. It seems, but the several basic rules are a pair singles out the score, which is the third dice, and 1, 2, 3 in succession automatically loses. 4, 5, 6, however, grants you an automatic win.
Oh, so
We'll place it for copy.
so
Keep it easy.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around how that dwarf bullshitted me.
That was pretty close to that interaction, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
Probably overheard.
You perhaps even, well, you might not have actually seen the rolls, but you definitely heard some bullshit happening. Because he was saying most of the dice rolls aloud, like, oh yeah, 4 or 5, that's good.
Would you care to roll with me?
Lewis, do you want to play? Can you count that high?
Yes. But no play.
Nope. Okay.
No roll.
No problem.
Sad. That's a sad one.
His dice are this big. Can't get them out.
Rocks.
I got 2 rocks.
Beat your rock.
Beat
Now,
your
I
one
don't actually own dice. Do you have a set?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yes. Which shall we bet?
Sure. Let's play a game.
You guys can play a game, yeah? Go for it.
What's
Do it.
what should be the ante?
Let's keep it at what the dwarfs. I had the dwarf with the 1 silver.
Sounds good to me. Throw in my 1 silver.
Hey, where's all my pieces?
There are plenty in
It's just 3d6.
Yeah.
It's yeah. The place. Yeah.
It's not that dissimilar, yeah.
So is that your good? Oh. One other rule that I forgot to mention.
Already bullshit.
Bullshit.
I appreciate
No
I
bullshit.
appreciate it.
The players each roll until they score. So if you do not have a score, such as mine, as you can see, and I pull my dice out, I rolled a 2, 3, 4. Unfortunately, no score.
So
So
2, 3,
continue
4,
to-
even though in succession doesn't.
1, 2, 3 is a loss. 4, 5, 6.
And then you want to
Win.
pair with a good number.
Yes. Or triples. But
So
we'll get
2,
into that
4,
later.
5 is 2, 4, 5 is nothing.
2, 4, 5 is nothing.
Man, he was bullshitting me a lot. Well, there's a double 5 and a 4.
That would be a score of 4. Double 1s. And a 5. I take this round, unfortunately.
Sure. Okay, so it doesn't matter what pair you get, but the third. Ah,
Yes.
sound like this.
Maybe a different game. I'll put the dice away.
Not
Take your
Hand over the-
take my silver.
hand over the silver.
There'll be other opportunities, my friend. You'll have a chance to win back your money.
I just gotta find somebody who I can bullshit that.
Games CeeLo.
So, as you guys are carrying on with that,
Down.
Yeah.
And
You feel,
draining you of all your silver.
you feel a great shift in the boat as it kind of begins to move. And you kind of all, woo,
Our voyage has begun.
and you kind of feel the boat begin to kind of steer and turn.
I wonder if I've been on a boat before. But
I
cats aren't good at water.
definitely have not.
I think I probably have. I come from a port town.
I feel like you've been on a boat.
Yeah.
I know that Barrett's been on a boat.
I've been on a boat.
You've been on a boat, for sure you would have had to. And it was
Who's probably
perhaps
better
I've been
boat.
on smaller boats.
small boats. Okay.
It's still been used as a boat.
He is
You two
small.
probably not.
Definitely.
Probably not.
Definitely not.
Change.
No, raft.
So I am still no for me,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Maybe for you.
As the portholes, currently the windows, I guess, are sealed tight shut, you can unlock them and open them if you like. But at the moment,
look
they're
out.
closed. To look out the outside.
How big are they?
Big enough for the bucket to fit through.
How much of my body can get through?
Do you want to try and squeeze?
No, I'm.
Gauging it,
That's
you
what I'm gauging it.
you could
I'm just-
perhaps
I'm just
weasel
straight
your way
up.
through.
I
Like
don't know.
your head would fit, and your shoulders, like if you could
Isn't it
contort,
not like
maybe.
8 feet tall. Like
I'm
she
like
did.
2.5. I'm
Yeah,
small.
you're tiny. I would say you could probably fit through that porthole. Like, it would be an effort, but you could fit through.
No, open it for the portal.
Open it? Oh, of course. No, don't open.
No opening portal.
Period.
Oh, all right. Don't you come in? Guess I don't want anybody peering in, anyways. That's
Hey, kids, want to get that body?
stoic face bombs me.
Lucian.
Yes, that's
How
correct.
should we? Do you mind taking the? I think I might fit best on the top bunk. That way I can just kind of hang over. Tim, sir, where do you
That's
want
all
to?
right. I can. We elves tend to go into a bit of a trance. It's not a problem at all. Sit merely and reflect on my decisions.
Good. I'll take the hammock.
You know what a trance is?
Yes.
Don't worry, I'll stand watch. You'll be fine.
I don't know what anything
Alright.
is.
Signs and wonders.
So, as you guys climatize to your rooms and get used to a little bit of the movement as the ship begins to make its way out of port. As the minutes go by, those of you who are not used to being at sea, which is all of you, because none of you are sailors, can make me a con save. As about an hour of sea travel goes by.
It's our
17.
17.
Con save?
Yes.
Ooh, that's not bad for Lola.
15.
Okay.
Nice.
24.
Woo! Ciao.
23.
12.
If I take care
Is our little cat sick? Yikes.
Wasn't good.
Straight zoom.
No one will be seeing that. Oh, there it is. No one will see that.
9.
Sorry.
9? Alright. So, as I said, about an hour of travel as you guys are in your rooms still, before you see Kushagra kind of like staring. Then he begins to. You are about to get sick.
You okay there, buddy?
I might have had too much fermented milk.
Milk.
Doing that cat thing.
You are under the poisoned condition until you complete a long rest.
Feel green.
And yeah, you're doing some vomiting, some dry heaving.
Hairball.
That's so gross.
Tight quarters in that room.
Yeah, it's gonna smell awful.
Open the damn window.
Shocker wasn't kidding when he said like fermented milk is his favorite.
Giant fucking crocodile.
It smells like very sour, very gross.
Jesus.
I need to get out of here.
Forgive me, friends. I promise. It will not be like this the whole way.
We're out for an hour.
We're all.
Well,
Yeah, you guys are fine.
you rest up. Who's get out of my way? I need to get out of here.
Where there's no room.
Get on the top bunk.
You can fit.
Please tell me it breaks. Please tell me it breaks.
The room suddenly feels, still small, but huge now in comparison to what it felt like a second ago.
What? I just turn around real quick. So much room, and I just leave the room.
Okay. Are you heading upstairs?
Yeah.
So, as you're about to head upstairs, you can hear some shouting a little bit above. It sounds like the captain, and she kind of like, yes, get everybody up aboard. We need to go over to the basics, of course. Skip, if you don't mind. And he kind of like meets you halfway up and says, if we're just gathering everybody up on the top deck here, feel free to carry on. And he goes down and knocks on each of the doors. Top deck in 5 minutes there. And then knocks on your door and the same thing. And then you hear him kind of shuffle up the hallway a little bit and go to the dwarves and same thing.
During that short rest, I'd like to use my arcane recovery to regain a spell slot. And when I hear the 5-minute warning, I will start to do the form of turning myself back.
Okay.
Is this a hammock that has enough fabric on either side that if I were to put my 2.5-foot self in it, you would be able to see me?
Oh, far and away, yes.
Okay.
You possibly
So
could
I
get
can
a
knock on the
third
door, you just see
wrapping.
my head kind of pop out of this cocoon.
Yeah, you
Disheveled
are.
hair.
Yeah. You can easily fit twice, if not 3 times.
Your hair comes out like impossibly crazy.
Yeah. More so than I was before. Just and it comes up like a puff of dirt as well as I come up.
So presumably you are making your way up top.
Yeah, maybe I'll take my bucket with me.
That'd be wise.
Yep. I'm grabbing on my mask again. Back into hiding.
I
Barrett,
can't fit
since
on his shoulders anymore, can I?
I'm not
actually have to
under,
walk.
but once you get top deck, sure.
Use my
Left
legs.
foot, right
Have to use
foot, left foot.
Yeah, how do I do this? Yeah, okay.
Especially at sea, you're like, whoa.
Okay.
So Barrett firstly up though, but eventually one by one you guys begin to go up, and you see the wide open ocean. And behind you, the land that is beginning to disappear. Somewhat familiar to you for sure.
I think it's
see, go on.
big inhale of fresh sea air, and then kind of look around at all the people who are coming up as well.
So as you begin to come up, you see the ocean, the breath of fresh air. Looking across few heads. First thing you notice beyond are the other ships that seem to be going along. The large blue and white sailed galleon ship, the other large galleon with the plain sails that the horses were being led onto, as well as a small frigate, as well with the same sort of color tones as blue and white from the nation of Avendare as well. That's kind of going alongside with the large galleon as well, so a smaller frigate going along with that one. Across the deck, you see a lot of individuals. You see the 3 dwarves eventually come up as well, and the rest of everybody. Most of the crew, some of them are not here, but there's probably about 10 or so crew members kind of milling about. Most of them are tying ropes up and making themselves somewhat busy. From the very top of the crow tower, or the crow's nest, you see kind of peering down this black cloaked figure, somewhat where they kind of like rappel down with one arm very, very swiftly and kind of land beside you and kind of with a fairly heavy thud right next to you before they kind of tie something off and busy themselves and carry on. Before that, you see Skip kind of make his way back up the stairs. And, just about there, Captain. Everyone will be accounted for just a second. Where you see Zovra atop where the helm of the ship is, kind of leaning over with one hand and kind of like, very well, a few more moments, yes, and I will announce to the rest. Skip, that's fine for now. You can retire if you like. Very well, Captain. You see him kind of shuffle along before he goes and stops by one of the deckhands. You're doing it all wrong here. Let me see that broom here for 1 second. He starts sweeping away. See, this is how you do it. One motion. Push forward. Otherwise, you're just smearing it. He's just smearing it. He passes it back to him and then continues to lecture him for a few minutes before going back downstairs. By which the end of that time, all of you have gathered atop. Kshagra holding bucket in front of him. This horrible smell coming like from around him. You see the crew members like.
I'm pretty sure that was the shit bucket too, wasn't it?
I'm gonna roll something.
Yeah.
Honey.
Oh, honey.
I'm holding the toilet.
Point literally bringing the trouble in you, yeah.
Lucian, Kshagra, and Farmer, you guys hear some of the crew members muddling about, as some of them whispering to one another. You hear a couple of them, oh, another demon? There's 2 of them now? What do you mean, 2? This is a bad omen, I'll tell you. And they continue to whisper a little bit.
2 of them.
Before the captain kind of, all right, attention please. New passengers atop my ship. Welcome. I am Captain Zovra Holloway. Welcome to the Breath of the Arga.
Zovra?
Zovra.
Z-O-V-R.
Zovra.
Zovra. And Holloway, as in Hall, Alloway, Hallaw. Fucking hell.
It's the Holloway or your last name.
Holloway's her last name.
Woo! Thank you.
That one's probably easier to spell.
It's Holloway. It's
Holloway, yeah. I am the captain of this ship. This is my ship, and anybody aboard it is my responsibility. That being said, all of you who have paid the fine price of a ticket, I appreciate you making your way to the port to board the ship. You are my responsibility. I am to ensure you make it all the way to the Heart of Mora, but should you go missing, that is your responsibility as well. Very hard, of course. We only have 1 stop to make on our 2-week voyage. We will make a short stop in the next few days at the Lonesome Island for a supply renewal before we make our way the rest across the Northern Ocean. This is not my first trip to the Heart of Mora. This will be my 3rd. Although it has been some years since I have made the voyage, I am confident in my crew, and I do hope you a relaxing voyage. If you need anything, you may take your complaints or regards to our skip, Skippy Greg, or my quartermaster Jason. You see this guy wearing like very heavy kind of blue tunic, just kind of like he's standing like right next to her. He looks kind of bored, to be honest. And we have a few stranger than usual passengers, I suppose, and I will hope that you will all get along just fine. There is no funny business on my ship. Any weapons or other tricks and things like that, I would expect you to keep to yourselves, lest strict discipline, and she kind of grabs the sword at her side, be bestowed. Understood?
How hard are we talking?
Do not test me.
Noted.
So, as long as we understand each other,
Mommy.
there are 2 meals per day that you are entitled to. You may take them whenever you like. Our cook will be happy to prepare them at any time of the day. There should be something ready to eat, of course. So, welcome to the voyage. Make yourselves comfortable. That is all.
I'd like to do a peer around. This is like we see our whole ship, all the passengers.
Actually, it's just you guys so far, and the dwarves, of course. And we're
Right.
kind of like, it seems talking amongst themselves. A couple of them go over to the edge and kind of look over. You see 2 other dwarves and a gnome that are kind of gathered around a bunch of barrels and the cannons. There's actually 2. They're not humongous cannons, like you've seen bigger, possibly, if you've been on ships before, but they definitely crack a hole in a human, that's for damn sure. They're kind of like talking amongst themselves and kind of like, I say that, whispering amongst each other. You see one of them kind of like cleaning a handheld firearm of some sorts, as he kind of just wiping it with a little cloth and kind of looking at the muzzle. He kind of eyes you up and...
These are all crew that we're looking at.
Those would be crew, yeah. Well, you're not 100% sure, but they seem crewly, yeah. They crew-like.
I'd like to seek out this Jason.
Sure. He's standing up at the top, just kind of near Zovra.
So I'm gonna waddle over.
Sure.
Forgive me, Captain, but I seem to have come down with some seasickness. Perhaps Jason here has some sort of remedy that could be delivered.
Yes, that is, if you don't mind, over at the side there, the back, if you could. Yes, very good. Jason, please gather up some salt for our gentleman here. Make your way down, if you wouldn't mind, to the bottom level and see the doctor. Jason, if you could escort our passenger here to Cassie, and she will take care of you.
Thank you.
Kind of like, all right, this way. And takes you by the back and leads you down, actually to the far end, and then down to the very bottom level, leading you past a couple of doors, down a very narrow corridor before it opens up, and you can smell kind of like soup and vegetables and things like that cooking. Where sitting at the table, you see a lady and another lady, one of them kind of wearing a apron of sorts and very plain clothes underneath, and she kind of, Jason? Yes? Yes, we have one of our passengers here is feeling rather ill. I'm going to leave him in your capable hands, of course. Oh, yes, very well. First, we're going to get some salt into you. That's going to settle this. And she sits you down at the table and pushes a bucket in front of your face. We'll probably need this still. If you don't mind, Paulus, maybe something a little bit light and brothy to settle the stomach here. Let's have a heavy ginger if we've got it. Kind of,
Very, very kind. Thank you.
oh, yes, you'll be fine. It's probably going to take a while, though, but you'll be fine. I've seen worse. And I've seen better, but don't worry, you'll be fine. This will pass. I promise you. I've been at sea many years now. Don't be. Just the other day, I had to take care of a few individuals. You're not alone.
Take my remedy.
It's going to take a little while for them to kind of settle you in. The rest of you standing atop deck still, is there anything you'd like to be doing?
I'm gonna, like, at the bottom of the center pillar, I'm gonna sit on the barrels that are propped up there,
Okay.
and I'm just gonna start playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you kind of park yourself on the barrels, a few of the dwarves that are kind of standing, the two dwarves and the gnome that are standing here by, you hear the gnome kind of squeak a little bit.
It's the black powder. Don't get sitting on that there, boy.
Oh,
Especially if you're gonna be hot-tailing it. Don't you be blowing us all to smithereens.
ding. I play a very fiery lute.
Well, not too flyery. Oh, Witsy here's got his eye on you.
So you keep the black powder up on top of that?
It's nice and close by, that's for sure.
But what if it gets wet?
Wet?
Shouldn't it
I
be
suppose
down?
there's a chance, but they're in a barrel, it's nice and safe. You know, you're not the only one on board, that's for sure. There's another one. He likes to come out at night, I find, that's for sure.
So there is two.
Mysterious fella. The lot of you.
Wait. I thought somebody was talking about somebody else. Horns.
Yes, yes. Although he's
Dashing good looks.
I wouldn't know, he generally covers himself and sticks around the edges of the ship. I think he just needs to get the fresh air, that's all. I understand it.
Where's he at?
Oh, and I'd have to. He's down in one of the other rooms on the front side.
Okay. And only comes out during the night?
As far as I've seen, yeah.
What a weirdo. I just...
Hey, some people like the darkness.
He starts like fiddling around with something trinket of some kind.
I just... Darkness. No parents.
You seem quite cozy at the sea here, boy. Hey, sure I haven't seen you around? I've been sailing these parts for years.
I've been on a ship or two.
Yeah, what are the names of them? I might have been on one of them ships long ago.
The one I traveled on the most is called the Ailstorm.
Maelstrom. Yeah, I can't say I've heard of that one. Might have heard of the Bale Farm or Storm or something along those lines, maybe?
No.
Maybe the Barrel Storm? Or the Storm Barrel?
Barrelstorm, that's a bad name for a ship, isn't
Yeah,
it?
well, it's sunken, I'll tell you right now. It wasn't my fault.
Wasn't your fault.
No. Not an old witch, he's safer than a fish in the water.
Fish in the water.
You hear one of the other doors.
Oh, right, maybe something safer than that. A big fish in the water.
Well, there's always a bigger fish.
Ooh, I never thought about that. We'll have to work on that and that, but anyway, make sure you're keeping your fiery ways away from these barrels, that's all.
I'll just know that if I do start a fire, not to start it here.
Well, preferably not at
Oh,
all.
and he kind of looks up at the captain, who's not paying attention to him at the moment.
No promises, but I promise.
Yeah, man, a little confused there, but I'll take your word for it.
There you go.
Well, anyway, I should probably get back to work here.
I'm just gonna continue playing.
Barrels need to be cleaned, you know. Yeah, of course.
He goes and starts like jimmying one of the cannons a little bit, just dinking around a bit.
I have questions.
Sure.
Maybe I'm asking too late at this point, but I'm wondering, the tickets that we got, you mentioned obtained, well, legally.
Totally.
By means.
By means.
You mentioned that they've been around for a while, right?
The ship has been planned for at least a year, if not more.
Oh, wow.
Okay, then I'm very curious as to why there's only 9 of us on the ship. Is that because there's limited room?
Only so much space, but from what you gathered, the tickets themselves were probably very expensive.
Oh, you lucky guy.
And there's other crew, there's
Yeah.
There's a big crew as
We haven't
well.
gone down to the
So
lower,
there's the-
lower levels yet.
Right.
The 6 of us,
And the 3 dwarves.
and then this other halfling or other tiefling that was talked about.
Yeah.
Well, and then there's the
4.
question: the Avondale army over there?
A contingency of
And
sorts.
are they up on the upper deck with us, or are they still hanging out?
They're actually still below.
Okay, so
none
I
of them
actually don't
came
know
out.
if they're
And
in here.
is Blue Cloaks, is that Avondale? Is that
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You guys recognize them immediately upon sight. And you guys, when you were
Any of us-
exiting
I
your
don't-
room,
I
you
think-
probably would have at least taken a glimpse of them
Oh,
as you
okay.
kind of like come down and have to go up the stairs.
Okay.
You would have at least seen the guys standing outside the door, the end of the hallway there. So, as you guys continue out into the sea, are you staying up top deck?
Yeah.
Okay. Lucid?
I may find myself going back below deck. Some sort of re-up.
Re-ups.
Skies.
Okay.
I'm staying up top as well.
All right.
Now let's pull you down
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
we
head
go
level
down.
and ask.
Oh yeah, good
what
call.
you-
It's probably a good time for a break actually, because it's been about 90 minutes since we started. So.
It's 8:30.
Do you want to stay
Okay,
up
good,
top?
good catch. All right, we'll take a quick break here, guys. So as we come back from our break, we'll get back into it. So you guys are in your respective places on the ship, wherever you'd like to be. Lucian, you're in your room. Some of you are top deck. Some of you are
Infirmary.
All the room?
in.
Powwow?
Yeah, you're hanging out with in the kitchen right now, eating some very salty vegetable soup. That's hopefully calming your
Yikes,
stomach down.
okay.
He's literally just chopping ginger and putting it in front of you and being like, "Here, eat this." As she's kind of just patting your back and like moist cloth on your head, that sort of thing, keeping you,
Nice
contained. But it just has to pass, basically. They're just
Well, you just have to acclimate, right?
you do
I've
acclimate.
never actually had seasickness, but
It
does
sucks.
go away.
All out in the first.
It's
first section.
really bad. You think it's gonna go away, and then it just doesn't ever. Sometimes. But anyway, I haven't been on ship for like more than a day, so that I don't know if it would go away over a day or not.
it's
but
supposed to over
You're
time.
gonna be
right?
making that
Seasickness
save
is
until you
nice.
make that
You get used
save.
to it, don't you?
They say you
We're
get
gonna
your
find
sea
out.
legs, right? So like you get used to it and then stop.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
I've never done it.
as the hours
Don't be
hold on, actually,
your stomach.
I'll give you guys a little map reference while we're at it.
What's that?
Oh, map.
El Mapo.
So, leaving out of the port, you guys begin here in Alicia.
And that's not how I
And
was thinking.
as you're making your way, those of you who are top deck will notice like you're kind of going between the lands. This piece of land here is basically a massive sand barge almost, or sand. Crap, I can't remember what it's called. Sand, more or less. But anyway,
Sandbar.
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 It was right the first time. Okay. There's some scattered trees on it, but it's very low land. You could see where the sea would overtake it in a matter of moments if it were to rise any such amount. But as the hours begin to continue to tick by, Kashaga, make me another Constitution saving throw as you
Got
are
this.
still
Good
sick.
push.
Sorry, this is the next day.
No, still in the first day, but towards the end, as the afternoon begins to lull and dusk is soon approaching, as the hours have gone by relatively fast throughout the course of the
See if I
travel.
can manage getting a night's sleep here.
It's an 11.
11, so that's a 15 altogether.
I should have actually let you roll with advantage, but that's enough to pass. Anyways, with the nursing help and all that stuff, eventually over the course of several hours before the evening sets, you're feeling good enough, and the doctor's kind of like, "You should be fine. I would recommend getting some rest overnight, though, and you'll be right as rain in the morning."
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Of course.
Put in a good word for you with the other. Good night.
Of course.
And sorry,
And you hear her kind of like, "Oh god," as soon as you kind of walk away.
How much time has passed then?
It's been probably 5 hours or so.
So I got my
Any of you who've not eaten will be getting hungry at this point. In which case, you kind of smell food going around as some of the people are getting their meals in and what have you.
Hey, Usk. Would you like for me to grab you something so you don't have to trudge down these halls?
Meat.
Meat. You want no roughage?
Meat.
Good for
I-
digestion, but no.
Shit's like a brick.
bad.
Okay, you can go down and collect meat for Usk.
Meat for Usk. I just asked, it's like, what's your, like, fattiest, like, thickest cut of meat that you get? Like, something that, like, yeah, you're probably not going to use too much of, but just like a big chunk of gator meat.
Well, it's very specific. We have enough food for, well, before we hit the Lonesome Island. I will see what I have in the storeroom. Right now is vegetable soup made.
He's not.
Let me have a look, though. Goes into the back room. Comes out with like this, after a few minutes, with this haunch of what looks like a big dried piece of ham. He's kind of like, I can slice this if this is appropriate.
Oh, that works.
Very good. And
Probably don't need to slice it.
puts it on the
Yeah.
big table and just takes out a knife and starts shaving it down into like a bunch of thin slices. And say when. I'm going to hit bone here.
Can I get the bone as well?
I unfortunately have to ration things somewhat. This will have to do for now.
But can I have the bone?
One moment, I suppose. He kind of takes the blade and saws like the bone out, and before he kind of like there's a bit of cartilage and things like that.
Oh, he'd love that.
Yes.
Yes. Have you seen him? Oh, you're lucky that I'm getting his food for him.
No, he has not come down yet, of course. An individual who was sick earlier, but
I'll have a bowl of the vegetable soup myself.
very good. Ladles it out for you.
I'll
Passes it
take
to
that and-
bread, of course.
Bread? Yeah.
Slices off a piece of bread and passes it to you.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
I walk up with soup in one hand, dripping meat in the
It's
other.
like a bunch of shaved pieces of meat,
Literally
like deli style.
today at lunch.
Hey, Usk, what you want? I got ham. I got ham and a bone, or vegetable soup.
Oh,
Open up and hand it over.
Reach out my gator claw and you just.
Yeah.
No more.
I mean, I'm eating vegetable soup.
Maybe find Skip later.
to ask for more food. Yes.
Hmm.
I'm gonna look through my rations and take out some. I'll have some like dried fish of some sort, some dried white fish.
Okay.
I'm gonna just like appeasement kind of pass it over to Usk. Be like, we wouldn't want our friend to go hungry now. We want you to be well fed. Thank you. Sure. I'm gonna skip dinner. I had my broth with the infirmary, so I'm just gonna
That's what
curl
we're
up and try and you know
You're heading to the room.
recover.
Okay. You guys? Are you doing anything particular other than like getting some dinner and settling in for the night? I suppose.
I probably went upstairs. Is it possible for me to bring food downstairs?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're so kind.
Getting some for Lucian.
Yes.
I could put on my gloves and just hide my face as best I could.
You can still do that and stay in the room.
Oh, okay. That makes you feel more comfortable.
I'll go upstairs and grab some food for the three of us.
Put my hood up and
Bring it back downstairs for the two, for all three of us.
Okay, you kind of like, oh, another gnome. Well, a new passenger, yes. Are you accustomed to the seas? Some dinner?
Yes, thank you.
Passes you one bowl, and would you like bread as well?
2 more.
For yourself?
Yes, I'm very hungry.
Very good. Passes you another bowl and more bread, yes, and slices it off.
Mm-hmm.
There you are.
Able to carry on.
It's 2 bowls, slices of bread, you can put them over top. You're like, yeah.
Servers do not. Servers are. Yeah. Servers are.
I have 2. I'll be back.
For more?
Yes, I'm very hungry.
Well, right, I do have to ration. Oh, very good.
Yeah, I'm already running at this point. I'm already running downstairs. And
Very interesting, Tim.
Please, Tim, do you get some for yourself?
Managed to get some salt and pepper by chance. Sorry, my apologies. Forget I said everything. It's alright.
Tim, you got it. You can have some.
You have prestige.
You can have some of mine. You want?
You can.
no.
You can.
Actually, Tim, you gotta eat something. I got
Yeah.
some stuff.
And she'll just leave. And she'll come back
The
upstairs.
door like
Yeah.
swinging open and
Yeah.
hanging by.
Looking around constantly. Yeah. Come back
She
upstairs.
scurries back down. Oh, that was rather fast. You are, little one. There should be a few more, if I'm not mistaken, as far as
They're
my
not hungry.
expectations.
Not I'm getting them their stuff.
Very good, little one. My name is Paulus, by the way.
Nice.
Cool story.
You hear him kind of like, rather curious.
Oh, sorry, bro.
As you're kind of shuffling past, a lot of the crew members have shifted over, and you can hear as you're going down the hallway, coming from inside of the two doors that are in that hallway, a fair bit of like raucous laughing. It sounds like people are in very good spirits right now. They're kind of like, ha 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 ha, and good luck and all that sort of stuff is kind of chanting about to some degree.
That way?
Yeah, in the bottom level, as you're going down the hallway, back up the stairs, back up the other flight of stairs.
Can I... Is there anyone outside of the door? Can I...
You want to listen in?
Closer to that door? Yeah, can I
Roll
listen
me a
in?
perception check.
19.
So as you take a moment and with the bowl in hand, you're kind of listening.
Yeah, I
maybe
exactly.
like half sipping it at some
Totally.
point. Yeah.
Totally.
Listening in. So you hear a number of different voices, mostly male, some female, some lower, some higher, of course. But for the most part, it sounds like there's at least 4 or 5 people in there, and they're kind of like, "Oh man! And did you see that giant lizard creature? I have never seen anything like it before." Well, there was that one guy. He's like, no, you weren't even on it that time. He's no, but I did hear about it. Came all the way from the south. Big lizard creature. Well, there's said to be some on where we're going, says the captain at least. Yeah, but I mean, this guy is big. I've never seen anything like it. Yeah, but what about the devil person? I mean, there's 2 of them now. Are we really sure about this? I mean, look at just remember what Captain says. Whatever she says goes. If they're safe, they're safe. If they've paid, they're paid. We shouldn't worry about that. We just gotta make sure we get all the way there, that's all. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about that. And now we've got actual knights. I've seen the things they're capable of. They're magical. No, you're lying. There's no magic here. God, Christ. Well, possibly those 2 elves, but other than them, not much magic, that's for sure. But those elves are crafty. They won't bother anyone, I'm sure. They just want to get where they're going. Yeah, but she was fairly easy on the eyes. I'd take that thought and leave it your mind. Captain will not have any fraternization with any of the passengers, you know that. Well, as if she finds out, of course. If you think you've got a shot in hell with some elven girl, you've got another thing coming, and you hear everyone kind of laugh. Now are you in or no? Yeah, throw me in for 2 silver, 2 silver. Yeah, it's fine. You kind of...
Do I recognize anyone? Any of the voices?
None that you've heard before. Possibly... No, none that you would have heard before, actually. None of... Not Jason. Jason's actually... Jason's man in the helm right now, actually. And it kind of like tapers off a little bit, whereas as most of the interesting conversation seems to list before you carry on.
Well, I've always thinking.
You can bring it back, yeah.
I'm gonna bring it back upstairs
Okay.
and just go back down to the room.
Alright. Yeah, you see Jason at the helm. As the sun is beginning to set as you come up top, after going all the way down and then back up, and you have to go across top deck to get down to where your guys' side is. It's a bit complicated, but you see the sun setting and the beautiful orange sky that's kind of bright, it's warm, the breeze is strong, the salty air. It's very beautiful. You've never seen anything like it, actually. It reminds you of a little bit of the desert, but in a very different way. And the desert doesn't move when you're standing on it, whereas this does. As the longer you stand, the more it kind of
Nope.
it goes downstairs. So, with that, the rest of you guys settle in over the course of the evening, and the sun begins to set fully, and darkness overtakes in the night. You guys begin to sleep.
I find myself going, like, when it gets dark and everybody's kind of turned in, going back up.
Same.
Okay.
As a point before moving on, can I make a note that I relay the conversation that I overheard both to?
Sure, absolutely.
Fantastic.
If you guys need to discuss that, now's the time.
Since they're just talking about the likes of us on the ship, might be quite fat. About my wits, I saw a 7-foot-tall crocodile man come into the boat. But creatures passed, I believe.
But only one devil person we know of.
Right.
One elf that we know of. You.
Yes. There's a second elf and a second devil person, I guess.
And 4 of those.
Yes.
What? Those sort of magic knights they got.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
That's some high level business there.
So for the fate of art, that's for sure.
Well, good night.
He's cocoon up like
Yeah, exactly.
into the corner.
Yeah.
Like this little ball. Looks like
Slowly rocking.
like a web sack almost. Green hair spilling out through the threads of the net, the web.
Lucian, you're headed out somewhere?
I do believe it needs some air. Wish to see what I can find on the ship just before I head in for the night. Maybe I might be able to whittle around in the dark. No being seen.
Listen, I'd like to think that there might be something we could do about buttressing this door up some.
Sure.
And maybe there could be, you could like knock on a code or something. I could let you back in.
Yes.
I'm kind of looking around the room, seeing if like our equipment, or there could be something that could be made to like.
Most things that exist in the room are like stationed down, as for most ships are like that. But if you have anything in your possession, you could bar the door with.
Well, what do I got?
You could take my dagger.
I got a crowbar. I just jam it under the door.
Yeah.
That would probably. Be
The
pretty
doors
good.
do lock from the outside. You have keys for it, but locking it from the inside is just a bolt basically. So you can lock it from the inside.
Oh, we can just lock them.
Yeah.
And you're gonna. Well,
You have
take the
one
Take
key
the key.
for each room. Yeah.
Still, I'm gonna put the thing in because I don't know who else has got the
Don't
key.
be losing it.
Don't let that.
I can.
We don't know who else has
If
got the
need
key. I'm still gonna do the crowbar thing, just in case
be. Of course.
that big fella gets hungry in the middle of the night.
It's for the best. Stay guided.
Okay, so knock. Secret knock.
Do you know the funky Dune Medina by chance?
Give it to me.
Okay. Please. One knock, followed by 3 successive knocks. And then another 2. That's it.
Copy that, sir.
Fantastic.
All right. And as Lucian goes out, we'll lock the door and then we'll put the crowbar in the lock.
Easily enough done.
I'm in
Okay.
I'll say, for the sake of it, Barrett probably arrives up top before, but
There's
moments
that.
later you see Lucian coming up top as well. But as you were looking out, it's probably maybe 8 or 9 when you guys are up there, as most of the crew have switched shifts, and the evening crew are out and about. And Jason is at the helm right now, where Zovra has retired to her quarters, and just quietly steering. And you see like 2 or 3 individuals atop the ship, but not too many crew.
I myself disguised back in
Jason.
pale elf. And just sort of got myself ready, hood pulled up, having my hair as well, and most of my face.
It's dark, it'll help. Yeah.
I kind of just hearing from person to person, kind of hand rested on the end part of my my rapier, and other hand holding my lute.
Say, Callie is probably still up. She's this human female, kind of mans the crow's nest a lot of the time. The individual you saw earlier who swung down abruptly and kind of plodded down, she kind of... So! That's a nice lute, is it?
Yeah,
Do you play any songs?
I like to consider myself a thespian of the arts.
Well, would you play something for me?
Well, what would you have in mind?
Something joyful.
Joyful.
Yes, it's been such a perfect day.
Joyful that carry over on the waves of the sea. I kind of lean. Are we pretty much here?
She was come down for
Okay,
this for sure.
so
She's normal level right now.
So I lean on the
Mast.
the mast.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Kind of.
He's a wiener.
Yeah, for sure.
And kind of just start playing some high notes, kind of letting the music just kind of start taking the feeling.
So as you begin, roll me a performance check. Kind of dust off a couple chords before you break into a song.
Do a little do re mi.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure it's in tune.
That is a unnatural 20.
Nice. Okay. The song is, the timing is beautiful. Each chord is struck precisely. How long does the song go on for? 10 minutes? Less?
A ballad.
Probably about 6 minutes and 13 seconds.
Right on.
Nice.
Very good. As you kind of crescendo towards its end, it's very kind of finishing up like before you end. And you kind of, oh, that was so good! Oh, you're so much better than the other one. He's...
Other one? Other
Oh, he'll be up
bard or
at
just
some point. No, the other devil person.
devil person?
Yes, he comes up at night. I always try to talk to him, but he's... Well, he's a bit more standoffish.
We get like that sometimes.
Well, you don't, that's for sure.
I'm very quirky and charming myself.
I can see that.
So what is your name?
Oh, I am Callie.
Callie.
Callie. I'm from the Grizzly Isles. A long ways away from here.
Well, I am Barrett Montgomery Ailstorm the Third.
Oh, the third?
The third, yeah.
She kind of reaches out her hand. Pleased to meet you.
Is she human?
She is, yeah.
She's in this.
I don't have a land that's my own. I'm more of a traveling. It comes with the job.
Oh, many a story then, I'm sure.
Oh yes.
This is my first time out on the... Well, not yet, of course, but out on the wide ocean.
Oh really?
I'm very excited.
I'm excited myself for our voyage.
Yes, Sten is showing me the ways of the ropes, but I'm a fast learner, that's for sure.
Yeah. What? Different types of knots, I'm assuming, kind of.
Well, we like to use our eyes, him and I take the evenings, mostly, and he takes the days. But someday, maybe I'll be able to work the day shift too. At the moment, though, I like the night. It
Yeah.
suits me well. She kind of dangles a bit of black hair from beneath her kind of cloaked figure, and she wears a lot of dark clothing. Simple, but dark.
You find yourself more of a night person than...
Well, I guess I've always been a bit of a night person, yes. Here at the high seas, there's some sort of peace at night that you don't find during the day. Listen. And it's just like whoosh, whoosh.
less busy.
Yes.
The scenic waves and the feeling of the boat rocking you as you hear the water hit the wood.
Quite exactly, yes.
I spent some time on boats, so not as long as this voyage is going to be.
Yes, it will be my longest time at sea without land, for sure. Captain says it will take nearly 2 weeks. If all goes well, of course. I feel more comfortable, though, with the ships of the nation. She looks out, and you can barely see them from here because it's quite dark at this point, but you can barely make out the sails from a couple 100 feet away as the ships...
And they're with us the entire time, right?
That is my understanding, yes. A fleet is strength in numbers. Uncertain times, because of the war.
Yeah. But strength in numbers can only get you so far. The more people, the louder you are.
The captain is a woman of her own. She will do what's necessary, should it come to that. But I know she has her bargains, and I stay out of it.
Yeah.
Yes. Simpler minds. So where are you from? As she begins to entwine you in her words, you hear kind of like the footsteps of someone coming up the stairs beyond, and she kind of, and you see this cloaked figure with a black cloak over its head, and kind of shaggy, torn clothing, and you see the sparkle of studded leather underneath some of it, where this individual stands up. Turns a little bit, and you can see the glint of the red of their skin and the horns coming around as you notice another tiefling. It kind of goes towards the very front of the ship, where he just stands and looks out, and it kind of arcs his neck a little bit. And you see him turn to the side and mutter a few things.
Is this the antisocial one you were talking about?
Yes, he's very mysterious, but I'm so curious. Do you think you could talk to him? Maybe. Do you think he would talk to you?
I mean,
Lucien, you're around for all of this, I would imagine. You're top deck, so you can also hear all this.
I can't see why he wouldn't talk to me over somebody else, I guess.
Well, I mean, I'm a human, so maybe he only likes to talk to other of his kind.
I can
I've
try.
never seen a devil person before. Now there's two. I must say, there's something just exciting about the whole thing.
Do you want to touch?
The horns?
Do you want to touch it?
Well, it's
I think I should leave.
Yeah, right?
More
Hold on a minute.
than
Oh, my.
yes,
my
maybe
stuff.
just
Go ahead.
She kind of. They're so hard.
Yeah.
God. Every time it's a bard. It's that.
Inevitable, yes.
The bard didn't start this one.
Yeah. She kind of like.
It's Callie.
I should make sure. I should go back up to the crow's nest.
Well, I'll relay any...
Maybe introduce me.
Yes. And I'll relay any information I find out to you. I'll come find you when the moon is high.
I heard something else.
Yeah, I'll come.
I should get back up. And she looks back as Jason's kind of like,
Yeah, man, Jason.
Whip that girl and shit.
yes, I know. And begins to climb her way up to the crow's nest again.
As she's climbing up.
Oh no.
Not bad for a human.
Slender, but strong.
Yeah. I make my way over to the cloaked figure.
Okay. Lucien, are you doing anything? You're also top deck.
I'm top deck, sort of like staying back along the walls there,
Okay.
and just sort of really peering around.
And listening, because all of this conversation is at least loud enough. Maybe not at the front of the boat with the wind and everything, but at least where they were talking, you could have overheard. So minding your business and looking out.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you approach,
So, I hear that you're another devil person.
very slowly, the head turns around. It turns back. It says nothing.
You give us all such bad raps.
I like the quiet.
Why though? So quiet. I start to ding.
You see him kind of like. It's easier to hear
Hear what the?
the silence.
There's never any silence when I'm around.
As I've noticed. What do you call yourself?
My name is Barrett Montgomery Ailstorm III.
A mouthful.
My mouth?
Very full.
I get. You can call me Barrett, or Montgomery, or Ailstorm, or the
So you
Third,
kind of
or
like-
Montgomery Ailstorm the Third. It doesn't really.
Seem like sizing you up. Where do you come from then?
Nowhere and every. I don't really have a. I live with a traveling circus.
Were your parents?
My parents? I guess Mom was the bearded lady. Dad was.
You are joking with me.
Well, I don't know who gave birth to me, but my parents was the carnival.
Looks at you.
Don't sniff me.
You are a child of the devils. But
You
first born, not like me, from other tiefling.
What? No.
Your mother, father maybe, human. This I can sense. Oh. So what do you want with cruel?
I didn't catch that. Your edge kind of hit my ear a little hard. Can you say that again?
They call me cruel.
Cruel.
Yes.
Is that a literal name? Is that because you're so joyful, obviously?
Make me a persuasion roll.
That is a 22.
Whoa.
That's a fine cut of jib.
Give me a second. That's a good roll. That's a really good
Let
roll.
me tell you history.
All used to be a family of cool, yes? What did? All back in Western Russia.
Western Tieflingistan.
Tieflingistan. Tieflingistan.
When cruel young, mother and father, tiefling, though very not around. Members of, looks at your loot. I think you know. Yes.
Go on.
Did not see very much. So me boy must find own way in village.
Maybe people call this boy cruel sometimes. So become cruel I did. You have not gone through the ritual. Let me see your neck.
My
He grabs you by the shoulder,
Oh, okay.
bad touch.
pulls you around.
I need an adult.
Bad touch.
If you're not going to resist, he
I'm
pulls.
not. I'm just kind of more verbally mocking.
Sort of squeak.
No scar.
No.
See cruel.
And he looks at the back of his neck and he shows you this very vicious scar across the back of his neck.
How are you?
How old am I? I don't know, really. Probably. How
Looks like pulls you by the chin.
You are young still. Much to learn. But ritual nonetheless. You should have gone.
I don't know about any ritual. There was no ritual. I don't appreciate your cruel hands on my body.
Pun intended.
Hey, he is not for you.
Was intended.
I'm definitely gonna be inching closer, trying to this pizzazz going on.
Okay, easily enough.
What's going on over here?
You can see that Barrett is more visibly annoyed and more cautious. The fact that he knows more than Barrett originally thought that he knew about things that Barrett doesn't tell people that he knows, and stuff that Barrett might not even know.
So, what are you doing on this ship here? Besides going my way.
Well, there's only one way to go, so I guess going your way was the correct answer. But I decided that I wanted to go see the Heart of Mora.
No other reason.
No, for shits and giggles.
Very good. Mooncrusher will not destroy you then.
Moon Crush.
I'm guessing that is your name for your winning smile? See? Crescent like a moon.
Very much.
You currently don't see him equipped with any actual weapons or anything like that.
Oh,
But let's see.
I'm gonna go back to my room and talk to my very scary, very big alligator roommate.
What is alligator?
Well, you should come find out. He hasn't had a taste of brimstone.
I wish to be alone.
It seems that way.
The night be with you.
Tough crowd.
Continues to look out.
Upon seeing how that interaction went,
Yeah, Barrett walking towards the
Scoot
ship.
on back down. Back
Okay.
down to the room.
I look up and at Callie at the
She's like,
Did not go well.
you hear Jason.
Callie!
Oh, Jason.
I'm watching!
I don't know if you could. Yeah, you're dark range. She's like,
I make my way back downstairs to the room.
I'll perform the funky tune Medina.
Let us hear it.
It's an older code.
It's still
it's a bit outdated, but
It checks out.
That's amazing.
Can I hear that as I'm going in?
you have the lowest, but it's still 10. That's a You're in a ship. You'd hear some kind of wood knocking. I don't know if you'd recognize the exact pattern.
No, just the tune itself.
Roll me a perception check.
Nope, that's not one.
Yeah.
You hear banging, but
Yeah.
recognizable tune of the echoing and the sound of water hitting the boat is just like noise.
Yeah. You kind of hear. I'm trying to mimic it with the lute.
Bang, bang, bang.
It just doesn't sound right.
Obviously, we left this in there.
Not obviously.
Quite subtly.
It was an outdated knock.
To the knock.
Again.
Please. There's another stage. It's called audio.
I would say,
Don't turn off my song.
Lucian, as you were waiting to be let in, you see down the hallway the blue robed gentleman kind of like leaning off and beginning to drift before the door like swings open, and he kind of he shifts up. And he switches.
Do I see anything past the door?
Roll me a perception check.
Whoa. What's happening?
Perception, please. How good is my perceptions? Yes, pretty good, pretty good. It is 16.
Keep it set.
Soviet Elf Kingdom. Soviet Elf Kingdom.
The smell of something cooking wafts out, as well as
Something walks out, sorry?
the smell of something cooking wafts out in your direction, as well as a strange sort of perfumey smell as well. It kind of
Potpourri.
it's very pleasant and floral for a moment before the door wafts closed, and you really only see two blue robes kind of just exchange each other, a bit of metal clanking around before he kind of like closes the door and
Quickly go back and do the funky dude Martina again.
okay. And before you go in,
I don't know.
so as the night passes by,
I will mage hand the crowbar open and then open the fucking door.
so
No choice.
as the night passes by,
Yeah.
and
Oh.
all of you have a decent rest, of course. Nobody is vomiting overnight, of course, so that's good.
Huzzah.
The morning comes. The sound of people milling about and changing kind of alerts you and wakes you up a little bit as the journey begins. And as everyone's staying in their room mostly, anybody jumping up top deck for the morning and afternoon time?
He's an early riser.
Okay.
Kept it by neural. Second.
All right.
I'm gonna make my way down to get some breakfast.
So I would say for the most part then, except for probably Lucian if you're staying in your room.
I'd probably do an hour's worth of
Okay.
meandering, making appearances.
All right.
Hey, coming back.
I guess then everyone can roll me a insight check as you're milling around the ship through the course of the
Go
day.
up for you'd stretch my legs.
Yeah.
Natural 20.
I let you go.
16.
Insect?
Yes.
Oh, wheat. Hey. For those of you non-French
17.
speakers out there.
Natural 1.
Oh,
Wheat.
It's okay.
Betting those nuts.
Your rolls are low at the moment. So for the most part, though.
17?
Okay. So for the most part, as a party, of course, and not that you are one yet, but you're getting there. You notice that there is a very generally jovial nature of the crew. People are in very high spirits, excited about the voyage. Everything seems tip-top. Everyone is in a fairly good mood. However, there is a sense of uncertainty with some crew members about the passengers and things like that are aboard, and that does become apparent to some of you, and there is like a wariness of and knowing that you're being looked at and watched by other members. However, at some point,
Is it like all of us equally, or are there...
it's
Yeah.
more of a general role for that one, yeah. However, at some point, since you guys are all milling about the ship at one point, I'd say, Lucian, since you're out for just like an hour or so, maybe you're not in that. But at some point, though, you do notice two individuals dawn and grab their breakfast as well and return back down to their room rapidly. But you pass them at some point, a female elf and a male elf. They look nearly identical to one another, although one is female, one is male. White, long hair on both of them. The female kind of slimmer, with very, very broad cheekbones and huge eyes that catch you immediately. And then the male with more like chiseled and gaunt features, with a very tight, strong body, clearly skilled fighter of some sorts, whereas the female seems a little more ginger and dainty than in comparison. They kind of give you an up-down, say nothing, and make their way back to their rooms.
Do they have any
at ease.
distinguishing emblems on their robes?
Not that you would see, but they do, because
Okay.
you're not going to be able to pass them at some point during the day. You're just taking a quick jaunt up.
Quick jaunt.
But they are donning like a cream and white colored robe with very natural earth tones, but very apparent and ostentatious to some degree golden cloths on each of them. The lady more so than the gentleman, who is wearing like arm bands and small tokens of gold and cloths, but she is wearing like a long, like the whole front of her outfit is gold in the front.
Now, would I recognize these colors to be that of the Realm of Mora?
If someone tells you about them, yes.
Oh, they did. I didn't see them. Oh, okay.
You didn't see them, no,
Oh, I thought I had walked.
because you're trying to hide most of the day.
most of the day.
But everyone else would have noticed them at some point during the day. But as the day sails on and Zovra is at the helm for most of it, you see Skip takes his turn and he's going around the ship kind of like telling everyone how to do their job properly, wagging his finger in the faces of many a deckhand before moving his way along to the next, of course, kind of like,
I see. This is exactly why the floor's never clean around here. This is why you need to be doing this and you need to be doing that. And if you're gonna tie a rope, tie it properly, for God's sakes.
giving everyone the gears for the most part.
God love you, Skippy.
But the full length of the day passes until the evening.
Thinking of Leo a lot for some reason, even though this
Yeah,
is nothing
totally.
like Leo.
Yeah.
Just energy.
Energy is very much good. Leo and the guy from Nash.
The guy from
Yeah, actually, the accent.
Yeah, exactly.
As the day passes into the evening once again, is anybody going to be out for an evening top deck time?
Nope.
Okay.
This time.
I go and find Callie and kind of tell her some of that Cruel is not really a sociable person. His name is Cruel.
Cruel ain't cool.
His name is Cruel?
It's a slogan.
He was cruel.
That's so dark. I can see her getting a little bit interested more so. Did he say anything about me?
No,
What did you talk about? You were talking for at least... I mean, I was watching the whole time. She kind of continues to press into you a little bit about it. And, as Cruel eventually comes up to the surface and does the same thing, just looks at the front of the boat and just leans out and looks into the night sky. As that passes in and hours pass by and you and Callie are kind of chatting and getting to know each other a little bit, and she's slacking off on her duties somewhat. Jason at the helm is allowing this to some degree, but scoffing in his mind. You're the first to hear this off in the distance.
that doesn't sound good.
Sound of guns and cannons firing. You hear Jason,
Is that coming for
Captain!
As soon as I start hearing
Captain! And you hear like the door slam open as Zovra swings out. I heard it too. She's not Scottish. Anyway,
She is not Scottish.
comes up and looks out. Cuddy, do you see anything? Captain, she scurries up to the top and looks out. There's fire! Engagement across! And the cannons continue. Jason, allow me to take the helm. She's not Scottish, good lord. It's just so easy sometimes. Anyway, she's like, allow me to take the helm. She takes the helm and starts steering you guys away from this combat. She's like, we're not going to get engaged. We have places to be. We're going to continue to make for the Lonesome Island. She's not Scottish. What's happening?
That is drifting away from Scottish.
Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Do a little bit more rolling on the R's. and
Well,
I think
this
you'll be
Captain Zovra. There you go. There she is.
Yeah.
She's been
So,
found.
is this one of the other? We didn't want to interrupt earlier, but Tim and Farmer had done a little leg stretching.
Yeah.
During at nighttime. So we're up on the.
If you guys are up on top deck as
Yeah.
well, you're watching this.
Okay.
The rest of you guys who are sleeping will be woken up by this, though.
Can we see where this is coming from?
You can. You
Yeah.
can see the flashes of light probably about 1,000 feet away.
Probably on another one of the ships.
Yes.
Excuse
Zovra is
me.
steering away from this. We need to make ourselves scarce here. This is not our fight. And starts steering the ship away from it. We make for the Lonesome Island. They will catch up.
Or drowned.
As you say. She's not going to acknowledge that at all, that's for sure. As you guys are on top deck. Passengers, fear not. This is to be expected. This is a mild engagement. Please go back to your rooms and you'll be safe as well. Please, let us do our jobs here. Do not get in the way of my crew. She begins to steer. You feel the whole ship kind of take a very sharp turn away from this combat. As you hear the guns kind of about 10 or so minutes before like one or two more, and then silence. This captain's kind of like, that seems to be most of it. Stay the course. On our way. We wait for the light of the day to see what the rest of the fleet is doing. Jason, get your rest now. I will take the helm. Wake up Skippy. I need his eyes. She continues to steer the ship. As the night continues and the hours slip by, are you guys staying atop deck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, contrary to what she had said, to go back to her room, so I'm definitely coming up.
Those of you who are staying atop deck, roll me Constitution save for the sake of staying up all night.
Sure.
21.
You're kidding, Hammock?
I'm staying below. I take note of
Possibly rattled, like hair
That's
standing up on end of it.
Retired.
Well,
Seven.
in my mind, I came up.
Sounds getting real low.
Once we
Sounds
cleared
getting
that we're steering.
What was the check? What's it?
Con.
We don't see no.
So 15 for Farmer.
15.
Oh,
8
perfect.
again.
Stay on your
19.
sleep.
Tyndale and Lucian, you guys will take a point of exhaustion for staying up all night.
Yogi.
But the morning does eventually come.
It's day 3, yes.
Um,
So we had 2 nights.
yeah, I guess it would be day 3, yeah. So the morning,
Nice.
eventually the sun does bring light to the day, and Zovra is still at the helm. She looks pretty fucking tired, to be honest, but she's like, steering away. And anything yet, Kelly? Captain? The rest of the fleet is far behind. They seem to be in some tact, though. Looks like the frigate took a bit of damage. I believe the frigate. It's a smaller ship, basically, like faster and lighter, essentially.
Warship.
Well equipped, yeah, like meant for battle, essentially. Very well. We will continue on to the Lonesome Island as scheduled. We'll slow our pace and wait for the rest of the fleet to catch up to us before we get too far ahead.
That was the unmarked one, right? The frigate?
The frigate was marked with blue and white
Oh, it
sails
is-
as
it is
well.
the
Yeah,
mark.
there was a larger galleon
Right.
that was plain, like similar to your guys as well,
Okay.
and then one that's dressed with the blue and white as well. So she slows the pace a fair bit, but she continues on. But the ship noticeably slows down as the rest of the fleet over the next 4, 5, 6 hours begins to catch up. Those of you who are up top deck will notice as soon as they come in within eye line that the smaller frigate is fairly damaged. There is massive holes in the hull. One of the masts is completely snapped and broken down, and it is moving at a very slow pace. The other two ships kind of skirting on either side of it. You see large ropes attached where they're kind of helping it along as well.
I thought they were sleeping.
So there's 4 total ships. Your ship, the 2 galleons otherwise, and then the small frigate. So you have a 4-ship fleet in total.
And they all took damage? All 3?
Just the smaller one. Just the frigate.
And sorry, our type of ship is a
Galleon.
It's a galleon as well. Okay.
Big.
Big boy.
And so Zovra's like,
Neither.
this will slow us down dramatically. We will have to resupply more and more. They're not people, as she kind of addresses everyone to the top deck and just letting everybody know what's going on. She's like, all right, there's a bit of conflict has happened. It seemed to be some forces from Rodolph we'd expect. We were expecting a bit of conflict on this journey, and this is why we have the accompaniments that we do have. Everybody here is safe and sound. All heads are accounted for. Yes, Skippy? Skippy's like, I'm still making a couple of short counts there, but I'm well to it, Captain. Well to it. Very well. This will slow us down significantly, though, and we will be about a day or so behind our reserved schedules. Fear not, though, we have plenty of food until we arrive at the Lonesome Island. And we will have to make repairs once we arrive before the rest of the fleet are appropriate for the rest of the sea travel. I apologize for the inconvenience and the harsh circumstances, but the ways of the sea, and you don't worry, you are under very good care here. Please feel comfortable, everyone. If you have any concerns, please address them to myself, if you like, or Skippy here, and Jason, if he's awake at some point. Otherwise, please enjoy your stay again. Don't worry.
Well, I'm exhausted after that.
I'm falling asleep, and my head keeps
Bobbing.
actually smashing the top of Farmer's head. Yeah.
That makes good.
Farmers came is that the direction?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So,
Are we,
you guys-
how far are we from the Lonesome Island?
it's hard to tell. You're in the middle of the broken sea right now,
So
but
a couple days journey
there's
still.
about 2 more days left, as you've kind of lost a day or so because of that. In those 2 days before you guys arrive to the Lonesome Island, you are just going to be sailing. If there's anything you'd like to be doing, let me know.
I would like to mingle with the crewmen.
Okay.
Just introduce myself, small talk, offer to do readings for anybody.
Okay.
That's my main.
Roll me a general charisma check for this,
Yeah.
and we'll see how well they're able to receive you.
Can't miss this method. To. Can't see anything. It's 14 plus 2. Okay. Check that.
The face.
So over the
Plus-
course
plus
of
one.
that's still 15. That's quite good. So over the course of a couple days with the crew, and a few of them, more than you'd expect, especially once word kind of gets around about your doing readings and things like that. There's actually quite a bit of crew members, to be honest.
Why don't you just pick a crew member and we'll do a reading with them.
Well, more you're going to be getting a general sense,
Pep check.
essentially. But over the course of those, you find out that they're from all over. A lot of them, most of them are from the nation of Avondale. Some of them are from the Grizzly Isles, and then some of them are from Rodolph. They're from all over, and even a few of them. One actually is from Selgna. That's actually Wincy. Wincy the gnome is from Selgna.
Wincy.
Wincy. Is Wincy the cook?
Witsy is the
When I
crazy
talk-
gnome who was all about the black powder.
The black powder gnome,
The
right.
cook's
Right.
name is Paulus.
Paulus, right.
Oh, it's
The doctor who you were speaking with was Cassian. She is
And they're all
just a
gnomes.
human female.
Okay.
There's only the one gnome. Most of them are humans. There's a few dwarves. The master gunner is Gulby. He's from the Grizzly Isles. He's a dwarf. And Glaucus is the powder monkey, who basically is running to and from cannons to load them up and things like that. So he's a dwarf as well. There's also one other dwarf named Bolden. He's from the Grizzly Isles, and he's just a deckhand, a swabby. And the two riggers are Sten and Callie. Sten is from Rudolph. He's got this huge hunchback, and he's incredibly ugly, but he's really, really good at clambering up. Like, he is a hunchback of Notre Dame, Quasimodo to a T, basically. He's really good up and down, and with, like, slinging along the ropes and everything like that. But for Kushagar, you doing readings from some of them, eventually Skippy Greg comes to you for a reading. He's kind of like,
there was another lady. I've met her a couple times. Every time we go to the Lonesome Island, she does readings for me. I wonder if maybe there's something similar to the way you do these. Do you know this lady? She's everyone just calls her the Lady Red. Anyway, we're gonna go there, and I'd suggest if you have a chance, if we have enough time, and well,
This name, I've never heard before.
oh well, she's lovely. She does very similar things to you, and I reckon you guys would have a lot to talk about based on that, actually.
Of course, yes. Everybody in our line of work.
Well, she uses kind of a ball. It's very shiny. I don't know what's going on with that, but she always tells you about things that might happen, or where you've been, or what you're doing, and things
What
like
you
that.
do?
There are many tools and avenues to reach the same answers.
No, I've never seen it with the
So,
cards here though. That's nice. I like that.
It's my own personal favorite way of reaching more of myself.
Yeah, where did you learn that skill then? You just come up it.
A magician never reveals his secrets.
Oh, that's true. Ruin the mystique, right? Yes.
As well as a sage, most of the intuition that comes to me is not something that you can learn. It's a gift
Oh, it's a
from Mora herself. Yes.
yeah, like me and the cannons there. Yeah, we got an understanding, you know. It's like the same thing.
Much just the way that you are gifted with the cannons. Yes, you said it very
he
well.
can like
yourself.
take into his pouch and like put a little bit of something on his tongue.
Yeah, the cannons and the powder's always got you going. That's for sure. You gotta be one with the black powder. That's what the lady always says, at least.
Can I get a? I want to see
He's been in the white powder.
if I can get a like this is like I want to see if my intuition would tell me if is he like 100% loyal to the captain, or is he
Roll me an
somebody that
insight
would
check.
possibly make like a side deal?
Yeah,
sorts?
definitely roll me an insight.
Where is he from again?
He is from Selga.
So-
Sevna.
Selma?
Selga.
So
Yeah, I thought you said there was only one person from South.
Yeah, Witsy. Oh no, I'm talking about Skippy Greg.
Skippy.
He is actually from. He's actually from Avondale. He's actually from an area, a small fishing village near the Throat of Mora, up in the northwest.
Insight. I got a 6.
It's hard to tell. I mean, he seems like he is initially. He speaks very highly of the captain always.
Yeah, not getting a great read. I'll only act on things if I'm like absolutely sure. Anytime you need advice or a reading, uncertain about the future, come to me or the Red Woman. But as you said, it's the Red Lady. We'll gladly help you for the right price, of course.
Well, we're about a day's away now. We'll be there by nightfall, I'd expect. And if Captain's willing to let you all ashore, you'll be able to meet her.
Maybe I will go pay a visit to this Red Woman.
stretch your legs at least. You know, you might not ever see the land again, right? You never know about those oceans. I have great confidence in the captain, though. She's done this trip before.
So, some of your shipmates believe in bad omens, Skippy.
Who's talking about bad omens? It's
It's
bad talk to be talking about bad omens, that's for sure.
Yes, and I would consider saying that we may never reach land a bad omen. So perhaps we keep that to ourselves. Yes.
Don't fucking into the captain. I said that.
Oh,
Right? That was just a mistake.
Skippy,
Yeah.
of course not. We are friends. Yes.
We're friends. Yes, of course we're friends. You
Never
Mr.
tell.
Kishagra, right? Yeah, you and I are right friends. That's for
You
sure.
go easy on the powder now, Skippy.
I just use it to keep the salt out of my
Of
mouth.
course, but we need you being sharp and at your best when the cannons do need fire.
Oh no! Don't put me behind those cannons. That's for sure. I'll blow a sky high. That's a certainty. That's for sure. I leave that to Wincy. He's got all that figured out. I best get back to my duties.
Yes.
Start scolding someone.
Immediately.
I'm just like, I'm just gonna like take a little bit like powder off the barrel and just see what's in it.
Tastes like gunpowder. Your mouth like cotton mouth like immediately.
You just want to see what brimstone tastes like?
I was just curious. I'm
I
like,
can
it's
show you
working-
if you
it's
want.
working for him.
Skippy.
Yeah, good
Skippy
for
Graham.
Skippy.
It's
Yeah.
keeping him alert. It's like a smelling salt. So anything else anyone wants to be doing over the course of a couple days?
I usually find myself around the same time every night going up
Okay.
and talking to Callie and
All right.
kind of like getting the cold shoulder from Cruel.
Yeah, if you try and talk to him a couple more times, he'll entertain you more. Perhaps.
Bear, you get the sense that Bear doesn't like somebody knowing stuff that he seems to know.
Are you going to talk to him or keep your distance?
I'm going to keep my distance from
Okay.
for now.
Okay.
So like I go up to Callie each night and talk to her, but kind of
She's after the conflict. She's like, admittedly, I haven't actually been in a fight or a battle or anything like that before. I really hope Captain is knows what she's doing.
well, she seems to have our best interest in heart and keeping us safe.
That's what I hope too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that you know how to wield a weapon.
I mean, I have one. Pulls out like a little dagger. Just we all kind of have something, just in case.
Yeah. Like I have my lute, but I also have my rapier with me. So like,
And you can use it well.
oh yes.
Would you protect us if we needed it?
Girl.
Absolutely.
Relax.
Absolutely.
I have seen Captain fight, and she is. I wouldn't want to fight her, that's for sure. She can handle herself. I maybe someday would learn.
Long time at sea.
I should be keeping an eye on things, I suppose, but
Yes. I enjoy our conversations each night, though.
until tomorrow night, I suppose.
Yes.
Well, I suppose tomorrow we'll be at the Lonesome Island.
Hmm? Won't need to be on lookout, I guess.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll get an off, and then I can go ashore.
I could show you some of my rapier wit.
I've always wanted to visit the island. It's so
Phrasing.
mysterious.
Are we not doing that anymore?
Rapier wit. If I could accompany, that would be lovely.
I would consider it my honor.
It's up to Captain, though.
Get it.
See Jason kind of at the helm at night. He's like, Kelly! Yes, I know. I'm
there's
going. He's like, continues to steer. As she goes back up to the crow's nest and continues her watch for the night.
I make my way back down to the quarters.
I feel like over the next few days, I'd probably feel like you two, correct me if I'm wrong, would spend a lot of your time
In the room.
Right.
Yeah.
Going up during the
So
night.
I'd be the one bringing the
running.
food.
Yeah.
Like I thought I wasn't gonna be using my legs.
Well,
Here
I am the food
here I am.
fetcher.
Serving everybody.
But
Yeah.
I would
I'm gonna get to know Paulus pretty well.
In these periods of like going upstairs and stuff, I'd probably be scoping out things that I could steal.
Okay.
Not scraps. Metal scraps.
Metal scraps?
Yeah.
Okay.
Spoons.
Let's say
Barrel
roll me
pieces.
a perception for one.
It's a 11.
Okay.
Just clanging it.
You mostly find that in the kitchen, knives, things like that, could be relatively easy if you were to sneak them, of course. But outside of the top deck, it seems like most people keep their belongings to themselves and keep a relatively sharp look. Zovra runs a fairly strict ship for the
Yeah,
most
there's
part.
nothing like laying around or anything like
Not
that.
too much. I mean, you notice like Wincy leaves things around sometimes, but he's very quick to go back to it as well. You're like, oh, it's a window, but
Right.
he's like
Right.
right there, he's right there. Where he leaves like a
And I
little
wouldn't
wrench
take
or
the-
something like that.
yeah.
So if you like, there's some utensils, cups, things like that from the kitchen if you'd like to try and steal.
Yeah.
Okay, roll me a stealth check.
11.
So
I'm gonna keep this out because what's his name again?
the cook is Paulus.
Wait, Paul.
So as
we
you're
got a thing going on, me and Paul.
you're getting your couple bowls, his back is turned and he's filling a couple more. You're kind of like eyeing up like a knife and you're like, and you hear it kind of shink across the wood as he turns. Now that's not for your keeping. You should know. Without even having to turn necessarily, and before he comes around with the bowl. I need that to cut the bread there, little one. Unless you'd like to do the cutting.
How many days I've been interacting with this person?
3 now.
Cut what?
Try this loaf. Puts it down on the table on a cutting board. See how your
And then the
size
board's
goes.
like up here.
I'm like, yeah,
It's nice and serrated, just be careful, it's sharp.
keep my eyes on him the whole time I'm kind of doing this, and
He's just
only
watching you.
for a
and he's
quick
kind of like,
second, but take it away and just.
It's a bit thick, but not too bad. You want to chop some vegetables too while you're here, since you got the knife?
What vegetables?
No, let's start with some carrots. Let me go and grab a fresh bundle from me. And he goes and steps into the storage room, opens the door and you squeak open. He comes back and he's got like a whole bushel of carrots. And we're gonna chop these up into just little coin-sized sizes. We'll be using those for the stew this afternoon. Think you can handle that?
Yeah.
Very good. I'm gonna start working over here on this then. He starts going to work on some like onions or something along those lines.
I think I am.
So you start chopping up. Are you trying to sneak this knife again? Okay. After like an hour or so of cooking with him, he's like, see that? Now we made a fine stew. Here, have an extra bowl. Thanks for that. I'll be taking that knife back.
And she'll just walk away from it.
Nice talking with you as always. He's like, I think I'm starting to get underneath her. She'll
Getting through her.
get through there. To Cassie, and she's like, you know those gnomes.
Think about Wincy.
I don't want to. He eats powder. No, he doesn't. He does. I've seen him.
Wincy or Skippy?
Correct.
Wincy.
Wincy's the gnome. That
Wincy's the gnome that.
The powder monkey gnome, basically.
Just
Is
Wincy
it
and Skippy.
Skippy also?
Skippy also?
Maybe Skippy does a little
No,
bit too.
because
That was the one he was
Was
talking
that
to.
was that
Technically.
Wincy
You were
or Skippy
sipping.
that we were talking to?
They're both gonna be doing it.
Oh, Skippy's a tower.
But Skippy's a half.
Skippy, my man.
What do you think got Skippy on the gun?
Get him on the powder.
It was
Keep
Wincy.
you up all night.
Saw how effective Wincy was at, managing the gunpowder.
Matt.
And so you
Yes.
realize that it does
I'll
it
probably
affects
only-
gnomes differently.
Yeah, exactly.
I probably only get to stretch my legs once or twice a day with
Whenever
with,
you
um,
feel like it.
Yeah, but for the sake of appearances, we're still doing the chain thing or the on the shoulders
Oh,
thing.
whenever you're not
Yeah.
moving,
Yeah. What my particular interest in is in firearms and cannons.
Okay.
Just I want to know about them. What are they using? What do they got here? I'm longing to talk trade.
Okay.
But I can't.
So there's. Do you roll me a perception check for one, I
Okay.
suppose. You've already noticed that.
Shop kind of thing. Like you want to be.
Yeah, I
trying
can look at
absorb
them.
The information as much as possible.
Yeah, with a good look, I might be able to tell some things about them too. And
You've already noticed that one of the gunner dwarves seemed to have had a pistol at bare minimum.
Ah, come on! I can't see shit.
We ain't found
You know the one dwarf who has the pistol, and you can't seem to bend your focus off of him, and you're
Yeah.
observing him with his pistol a lot, and to the point where he's like,
Which dwarf?
so his name
Wincy? Golby?
is Gulby.
Golby!
Gulby.
Yeah.
Golby.
Golby's got it. Golby's got it.
Golby.
Got it.
It's a pretty nice piece, isn't it? I see you eyeing it up. Yeah, I like to keep her nice and clean. The barrel, that is. That way it shoots always straight. Pretty expensive bit, though.
What is it? Do I
It
recognize
is
anything?
some sort of black powder pistol of some kind. Roll me a history check, I suppose. As you know that black powder exists, most of it is developed from dwarves and gnomes and things like that. Especially in the Grizzly Isles, it was very popular and brought over the rest of the world from the Grizzly Isles. That's kind of where they manufactured it initially, and then being a lot of alchemists and things like that out there.
Right. Well, it's not good.
Okay.
Let's put it that.
Because it's a history? Oh, yeah, no.
I'd say most of the black powder weapons that you've seen and experienced have been larger, like cannons, long rifles, things that are kind of like a little bit unwieldy.
Right.
That you have
this
trained
thing is
with.
kind of sexy. Yeah.
This is like a smaller, like, oh, I could fit that in my belt and no one would see it kind of thing. That's pretty slick. I don't mind that. But it definitely, as he kind of tells you about, he's like, oh, it's got plenty of stopping power. That's for sure. Just in case you're interested in trying to fetch it off my belt. I wouldn't recommend it.
For the sake of this, I'm also
Yeah, you do that.
yeah. Oh well, I'm also keeping an eye on it. I can do stuff.
Forget then where I go.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for a similar piece, I mean, we are headed towards Lonesome Island, where there's many a good trader. Perhaps if you got the coin on you, you can find one for yourself. That's not what I got mine, of course. Several years worth of saving for this bad boy. Saved me in a few pinches here and there.
Everybody's Scottish.
The dwarves have to be Scottish. It's like a rule.
Everybody's Scottish.
You're Scottish.
And you're Scottish.
Who is this again?
Golby.
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 Golby. Well, not.
Golby
do
the
that.
gunner.
I will
Golby the gunner
always
with the
do
gun.
that.
Golby the gunner with a gun.
Gold.
Hildy's got
He's
it.
the master gunner, yeah. He's in charge of the cannons. Top dog. So, as the couple days pass, Usk, what have you been doing?
Bruce is spending a lot of time towards the front or the bow of the ship, kind of like keeping an eye, basking, gaining that sun energy,
Beautiful.
keeping warm, eyeing up the crew every so often if one of them wanders a little close.
Do you ever do any like fishing? Tie off a tether and just jump off?
Oh, that's what I was gonna imagine. Yeah.
It's tempting.
Yeah.
I do have 50 feet rope.
I like to think there was the one time Barrett didn't go and get his food, and then they asked Barrett to make sure
Make sure that he's fed.
Oh, that's funny.
As,
After seeing that, yeah.
I'll say probably the most likely crew member to come up to you and talk to you would be Sten. And so that the hunchback kind of human who comes over to you and he's like,
You're awfully big.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a similar posture. I don't know if you've noticed. But I'm quick when I need to be. I ain't never seen a big lizard like you standing on his two legs, though. I seen many atop a skillet, though.
That's gotta be derogatory.
I've heard that, as a lizards, they don't really have a preference of that meat or anything like that. They're pretty free rein on that. Is that true? Ever,
Raw's good.
raw's good.
Fresh better. June best.
Well, that's, well noted. Yeah. It's good talking to you. Yeah.
slinks away.
Meet me in front.
Doesn't want to eat them.
But he will. But he will.
Dear diary, me made friends.
I would say after about 10 or so minutes, Sten returns. Just so we know that we're in good terms here. And it's like a fish tail, like a half of a fish, holding it up by the tail. I just happen to have a Sten.
Stan, yeah.
Just happen to have a good in with Paulus there. There's a peace offering.
You're
Thank you. Not food, right? Not food. Remember that. I'm gonna climb up to the top of that crow's nest now. Yeah.
hope you don't fall.
No, Sten is as sure as he can be, that's for sure.
As he goes like hand over leg and
Pinky rule, I'm gonna call him.
shimmies his way up a rope. Up to the top. You see him go up to this top mast actually, and then there's another rope that kind of goes between them, and he kind of shimmies into the crow's nest. Very agile. Kind of. He looks down at you and
Chomp my jaw with the fish.
hanging out of the mouth. Okay.
Yeah,
Death roll.
I'm trying to fucking fling it back.
So, as the end of the second day comes and you guys begin to rest and go into the evening,
So there's the end of the.
or
that's
the second
day
leg of the
on.
slow days, yeah.
Full day.
You guys are traveling at a slower pace because of the frigate, right? So it's taking you a little while.
Damaged.
But eventually, the morning does come of that, or pardon me, the late evening comes when you guys begin to arrive towards Lonesome Island, and you hear Jason kind of alert Holloway. We're almost there, Captain. Comes out. All right. Make sure we are well equipped to handle ourselves in port. It will likely be a few days before the King's Whip is in working order. We should arrive before the late evening. These repairs shouldn't take too long, though. In the morning, we will allow some of our passengers to go aboard if they like. Well, not until the morning. Ships are not like the Lonesome Islands are a neutral area. Better to go into during the day.
Lonesome, not the lonely island.
Lonesome.
I'm on a boat!
That's what I wrote down. I was like, that doesn't seem right.
Just kind of addresses people during the day and says like, we're almost arriving at the Lonesome Islands. We'll be there come to the evening. We won't go ashore until the morning, of which we will offer
a few rafts if people are accepting to go offshore for any supplies. It will be about a day or two for us likely to repair one of our ships in the fleet before we leave. If you're not on the ship by the mornings of, we will depart without you. That is all. Return to your rooms and I will see you all in the morning. I have business to attend to, and if you need anything, again, refer to Skip.
Good.
2 days off though? Did I hear that right? Alright.
She reckons it'll probably be 1 to 2 days worth of repairs for the frigate.
So it's night. In the morning, we can go to the island.
Tonight, and as you guys are coming into the Lonesome Islands, I would say if you're up top deck, you'll be able to see the large mountainous terrain as you guys come into this very, very, very big cove. Actually, it's miles wide. You see probably half a dozen other ships already anchored into the port as well. Various sizes. None of them are as big as anything in your fleets. Actually, most of them are small. Little sloops and frigates. None of them marked Nation of Avondale as well. All of them seem to be private vessels on themselves. Noticing, I would say the most likely to notice that would be Barrett understanding ships a bit more on the seas. Noticing that a lot of them are trade ship styles. Like they have their own crew and they take care of themselves, but they're predominantly for trade. Maybe a couple of gunners, things like that, but no like heavy arsenal of cannons or things like that. As you kind of hear Zovra talking to things, this is a neutral trade zone. It is a battle off limits type of area, so we will be safe once we are ported and anchored into the Lonesome Island, but after that we will be facing the same sorts of things as we did earlier. And as the ships come in and you anchor for the evening and await the dawn, that's where we'll end our first session for the night.
Awesome.
Start.
I got one thing. Just one thing I want to say to these guys before we're now. I figure there's only 3 of us, and I don't like there's a lot of those nights. There's 4 of them. We're gonna need more people, and I know what you're thinking. We gotta talk to those elves.
No elves.
I thought you were gonna say elves.
No elves.
Gotta be some allies on the ship.
No people.
No people. Anything.
Okay, we'll work on it.
We're not people.
We'll work. We'll workshop. We'll workshop.
We're definitely a menagerie. Menagerie.
Menagerie. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Good first session, guys.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Man,
And we're off and running.
the PCs are like so well
so-
fleshed out.
Oh my
Like,
God,
I feel like
so many.
you have a crew to
Yeah.
interact with. It's not just random.
Many World Masters Heart of Mora is recorded in Chibuktuk, in Mi'kmahi, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This territory is covered by the Treaties of Peace and Friendship, which recognizes Mi'kmaq and Wolastoqiyik title and establishes rules for what is to be an ongoing relationship between nations. We are all treaty people and proudly support working and cooperating together to create a peaceful community where we can all live our best adventure.